How are we doing, guys? How are we doing? I was just looking at the numbers there. There's only about 11 in at the moment, but that's good. People will come in as we're speaking. Jesse, I don't know if you're still in the stream, mate. That's quite an old message now, but if you are in the bedtime. Brian, good afternoon. Peter, rainy afternoon. Wan Chai, is it, Brian? So we haven't had any rain today. It's very nice. It's actually very hot. I'm planning to wash the motorbikes after the stream today. I've got one of those power washers and it's got a little bottle on it for soap, you know. So people coming in now, more and more people coming in. So that's what I'm going to do. And yeah, just give me something to do. Shane, how you doing? Just landed back in Melbourne from sunny Cebu. You'll have the Cebu blues then, Shane. But as I always say, the sooner you go back, the sooner you're coming back out here again. Uncle Willie B, how you doing? Greetings from Sacramento, California. Ryan, hello everyone from Folkestone in England. 808, aloha. Yeah. Is that Rupesh? Rupesh, hello sir, how are you? And that's David bucking it down here in Brisbane. Okay. I actually like the rain here, as long as I haven't got to go out in it. When it's raining really heavy, it's just nice and cool. And we got the canopy over the front of the house now. We've got a little table there. We can just sit outside and the rain's belting down. We're dry and it's kind of very therapeutic. I think it's the word I'm looking for. Steve, how you doing? Looking forward to getting there in September. What we now? We're in June, aren't we? June, July, August. Oh, not long, 3 months. Ronald, how you doing? Huntington Beach. Okay. And what's up? Who's that? Chiku, is it? Okay, good to see you in the stream. All right. This is why I have a 3-minute introduction on the Sunday stream. See, by the time I start, I've got 100 people in. We've got 44 now. People are coming in all the time. So I've got a few topics I want to talk about today, but I'll wait till we get in. We get a few more people in. I want to talk about dating. I want to talk about myths about Thailand. I want to talk about has Thailand changed for the better or the worse? If you're one of those guys who's been coming here for years, do you think it's got better or do you think it's not as nice as it used to be 10 years ago, 20 years ago? I know I've got my own opinions on it. You might have yours. One thing that has changed a lot, I watch TikTok and Facebook quite a lot because I find myself having spare time in between doing things. Sometimes I'm waiting for people. I might be waiting for a phone call from the UK. I might have finished my YouTube. I've got an hour to spare before we go out for dinner or something. And I've noticed a lot of fights down in Pattaya now. Well, Phuket as well, to be honest with you. And a lot of them, and I don't know why, a lot of them involve, well, they involve everybody. I was going to say a particular race, but they don't. They involve everybody. And I don't know what the reason for it is. It never used to be like that. You know, people are a lot of fights, you know, and I will say I see a lot of Indians involved in fights with multiple groups of girls and ladyboys. I don't know what the reason is for that. I do see when I see English, American, white guys or whatever fighting, they're fighting each other for some reason. Either there's a bit of jealousy with a girl or what I don't know, but they have a bit too much to drink and they fight with each other. But with the Indians, they seem to have a problem with some of the locals because I often see them like there'll be a gang of 4 Thai ladies like shouting at him and pulling on his shirt and, you know, something like that. And that seems to be a reoccurring sort of thing down there. I don't know what's really going on, but it never used to be like that. You know, visa changes are going to change things. You know, the not the visa, the stamp to stay here as a tourist. That's tightening up, isn't it? So we'll see how that goes. So I do want to, what else? Just referring to my notes here, the old memories going. And anything you want to talk about, if you've got a question about Thailand or Hua Hin or Bangkok or whatever, feel free to ask right here. This is a place to do it, and I'll try to answer you as honestly as I can. Who's that? Same for me since 2019. Okay. Super Stephen. Hi, Peter. Thailand's getting expensive. Okay. So let's talk about Thailand and prices, first of all. I mean, if you're one of those who's been coming to Thailand for a few years now, even 5 years, 3 years, I don't know, do you think it's getting more expensive? There's always 2 camps on this. There's always the camp that says, no, you know, compared to your own country, Thailand's still really, really cheap. Then there's the other people, the older guys who've been coming out here for years. They say, yo, it's getting really expensive now. I'm moving to Cambodia or Vietnam. Which camp do you sit in? Do you think it's more expensive now or not? Chiku says, Thailand ban low spending Indian tourists go to Thailand and create nuisance. Meanwhile, high spending Indian tourists go to Switzerland or Europe. Okay, that's interesting. I know a lot of the Indian packages, the package groups that the Indians come in to Pattaya in, they're paid by their company, so they give them a target, and they say if you hit your target, we'll send you all to anywhere in Southeast Asia, and they like to come to Pattaya. They seem to like it, but they do seem to get in a bit of trouble down there. Perbert, does anyone really go on a 60-day vacation? New visa rules can really impact normal people. So this is another debate that's been going on. The reason that the Thai government have said that they're reducing the 60-day visa down to 30 days is because they said genuine tourists don't stay for 60 days, but the majority of them don't. But I do know people that stay who come here for 3 months at a time, and the 60 days was perfect because they get a 60-day stamp on arrival, then they'd extend it for 30 days, then they didn't have to go off and get a retirement visa. Damon is one, for instance. I know he has a house up in Buriram, and he comes for 3 months at a time sometimes. But you're right, most people when they come to Thailand, they're only coming for 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. I know when I used to come out here on holiday, I used to come for a week. I used to fly out on a Sunday and go back on a Sunday night on the 1 a.m. flight. So it's really Monday morning. And the 60-day has been abused quite a bit. That's why they're doing it. And I've heard, I don't know, you'll have to check this, but I know that the Indian stamp that they get went up from 15 days to 30 days. It's now going back down to 15 days. But I've also heard they have to pay 2,200 baht when they enter the airport. So that's probably going to affect a lot of them in big time. If you've got a group of, 10 Indian guys coming from India and they're going to pay 2,000 each or over 2,000 each, I mean, that's over 20,000 baht. Holding fan. Hi, Peter. How are you? Did it take Binto a while to settle into the vets? I hope the nurses at the vets gave Binto some extra treats. I don't know. I didn't, because I wasn't in there with him. They actually took him in there, and I just kind of peeked now and again. They let me do that video. I said, "Do you mind if I make a Facebook video?" But he's so timid. We were in the waiting room, and he was actually trembling because there were other people waiting in there. And there was I think he was Swiss or Dutch. He was like, "Oh, that's a really cute dog." And I said, "Look, he's really timid. Be careful. He might snap at you if you get too close." And he come over. He left his seat, and he's come with his hand like this. He's like, "Hello, hello, hello." And Binto basically messed himself. He wet himself, and he the other end as well, which was really embarrassing. But it's a vet, so used to that sort of thing. He was okay after a while, but he is very, very timid. But he started barking at people now. And what's really cute is we get we get a few school kids walk down our soil because they live here. And our front garden, there's a wall which is about, I'm just looking at it now, it's probably about 2 foot high. But on top of that, there's another 3 foot of fencing, but there's a gap like that. And these school kids, they've seen him now at the front and they think he's so cute. And what they do when they come home from school, they look through and where's Binto in Thai, right? And they want to see him, so they love him. Shane, Thailand is cheaper than Melbourne, but Philippines is cheaper. But my activities are different in each country. Okay. Ryan, it's because every bar girl puts their prices up. Even year gone by, every man has a girl on his arm. I'm on my 5th week in Thailand, says Ben Leon. Oh, this hot weather makes you thirsty. So I'll give you my opinion. Do I think Thailand's more expensive than not? A lot of it is still cheap. You can still get taxis down to Pattaya or Hua Hin or wherever, and it's so much cheaper than where I come, for instance. Thai food is still very, very cheap. If you come out here and you want to live like I mean, we have to eat some Western food sometimes, but you can live cheaply if you eat Thai foods. Accommodation is still relatively cheap. You can still get a budget hotel for 1,000, 1,200 baht. Air conditioning, very, very nice. I used to stay in budget hotels, and they were pretty good hotels. Clean sheets, clean towels, nice staff. So they're still cheap. So transportation, I mean, the BTS, the MRT in Bangkok, getting around cheap as well. So I think you can still have a cheap lifestyle out here, but where it gets expensive is when you start living like a Western person out here in Thailand. When you start going to McDonald's or Burger King, or you go for that Sunday roast on a Sunday, then Monday you want to go for fish and chips. You're talking 300 and 350 baht a meal. Whereas if you go out and get chicken fried rice, for instance, if you've picked the right places in Bangkok, you can pay 70 baht for it, 80 baht for it. Down here, it's even less. So I don't think Thailand's gotten more expensive. I think what's got more expensive is the entertainment and the Western food side of things. Western food is quite expensive in Thailand. It's nearly I think it's on a par with what I used to pay in the UK. You know, a roast dinner, what's that, £7? Well, that's probably cheaper than the UK now. So, but when I say it's expensive, it's not. Again, it's not expensive compared to your own country, but living out here, if you live and you eat Western food every day and you go to places like Nana Plaza and you're entertaining the ladies, I've got no idea how much is a small beer in Nana Plaza now. I know the market I go over the road, there's a market very close by. Well, most markets and restaurants here in Hua Hin, I pay 65 baht for a large bottle of Chang. I remember in Bangkok, just regular bars, I was paying 90 baht for a small Heineken, you know. So it all depends on how you live here, I suppose. Be happy, Pat. How you doing? Hi, everyone. 9 a.m. in France, starting in France, rather, starting to get hot. Nice one. URL, Droid. Is the general view changing to not Thai but mixed these days that you noticed? Let me read that again. Is the general view changing to not Thai but mixed these days? I don't really understand what you mean by that. Is the general view changing to not Thai but mixed these days? Could you reword it? I don't really understand what the question is. Another thing with regards to you know, the fights and everything that's going on here in Thailand. Another thing I've noticed is that the Thais are getting a bit sick and tired of some foreigners. You know, not all foreigners, but I've spoken to my girlfriend about it at length, and she sort of says, well, you know, we've always been like welcoming here in Thailand, but some Thais feel like foreigners are trying to take over the country. I was watching a news article last night, and you know, all these nominee companies and a lot of Russians down there in Phuket and all different races, you know, are setting up companies, and the immigration are coming down very, very hard on that aspect of things in Thailand now. You know, they're using a Thai to front a company, but it's run by a foreigner. You know, all sort of people from all different countries, and you know, the way that some foreigners talk to the Thais and act, you know, screaming and shouting and not paying their bills and even fighting with Thais. You know, I've seen plenty of guys fighting Thais, and they're getting what I like to call tourist fatigue. You know, they're getting a bit fed up of tourists. You know, I can remember 25 years ago, you were welcome with open hearts, open arms, and Thais were generally very, very happy to see a foreigner because one, you were spending, and two, they just liked it. You know, they liked the interaction. But now I think it's going away from that. Unless you're very close to like a Thai family or something. Like if I go up to Lopburi, where my girlfriend comes from, then her sisters and her immediate family are very kind to me because I'm almost part of the family now, right? I'll never be Thai, but you know what I mean. But you know, going places like Pattaya and Phuket now, I think they're just getting really fed up of foreigners, and who can blame them really? Okay, you said I mean. Due to immigration, not tourists, due to low birth rates in Thailand for 3 decades now. You know what? I still don't get it. What you're? I don't get the question. You say, I mean, due to immigration, not tourists. What was your other question? I'll go back. Is the general view changing to not Thai but mixed? I mean, due to immigration, not tourists, to low birth rates. Do you know what? I'm really sorry. I still don't understand the question. What you're trying to ask me? Does anybody else? If somebody else says, can you put it down? Because it's going straight over my head. Shano Traveller, Phuket is. Do you mean is the population going down in Thailand? Is that what you're trying to ask me, or are there less tourists here? Just you know. Shane, Phuket is the worst for fights, full-on tourist brawls. Oh my God! Yeah, I mean, I see that as well. But the reason I said Walking Street is because I recognise Walking Street in the videos. You know, fresh pillow cover. Hi Peter, greetings from Jakarta. It's very boring here. The language barrier is a nightmare. Well, you're the first person who's coming from Jakarta, and I'll tell you something very interesting. You'll know that there's an ibis in the middle of that town, and I was part of the opening team who opened that ibis because I used to work for a company called Accor who run ibis, and Jakarta was where we opened one of the. That was after I was part of the opening team in Khon Kaen where we opened a Sofitel. But that ibis in Jakarta, yeah, I was part of the opening team. I can describe it. I can still remember it now. What year was I there? I must have been there. I left. I think I left Khon Kaen around 96, 97. So I would have gone over there. No, sorry, it was a lot earlier than that. Yeah, I can't remember. It was mid-90s, but I still remember you walk in the front door, reception's in front of you, the coffee shop's on your left, And the swimming pool, I think it was on the 3rd or 4th floor. You might not have even seen it. Right, Perbit, is your green screen background real? The green screen's real, yeah. I don't know why I'm so thirsty. Do you mean the background? Is the background real? Well, no, because if you look at the sea, it's not moving. So that's the whole point of the green screen, so you can have a nice picture. If I didn't have the green screen, you'd just be looking at a white wall, basically. I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly. I think it's Chiku, is it? I'll just call you Chick. How's that? I think the Soy 6 walking street are becoming more camera friendly these days, and some bars have even started their own YouTube channels. What's your opinion on this? So there are a lot more people with cameras, and there's definitely a lot more people who have got YouTube channels. Everybody who comes to Thailand seems to open a YouTube channel. I still think it's wrong to stick the camera in a bar girl's face, because just because she is a bar girl, it doesn't really give you the right to put her on the internet, does it? I don't do it. I think I did one beach walk years ago, and then I took down the video. I walked along the beach and I was secretly filming the freelancers on Beach Road, and I uploaded, and a couple of people said, look, you shouldn't be doing that. And I thought, yeah, you're right. I took it down. I've never done it since. But, if you go walk down Soy 6 and you're on holiday and you're having fun and you want to show your friends back home and you're filming and everything, that's fine. You can do that, but you've got to be a little bit discreet with the girls. Remember that everybody's got internet now. Even poor farmers have got internet on their phone. And, you can imagine a lot of those girls will tell their family that they work in Bangkok as a cashier, or they work in a big restaurant in Pattaya as a cashier, and then suddenly the family see her kind of hanging out of a bar with just a bikini on, a very scantily dressed, how they are in Soy 6. They're going to be in for a shock, aren't they? So, yeah, I just think there are more people filming, and there is a lot more CCTV about as well. So if they've got facial recognition now, look at the Chinese guy who got arrested 2 weeks ago. He was on an international arrest warrant from China. He walked onto Walking Street. The facial recognition picked him up. He was arrested and deported back to China. So you got to be, if you're going to go out, it might, in the good old days, you go out and get drunk and maybe have a bit of a brawl, and you wake up the next day, it was just a good night out. But nowadays, you're getting a lot of trouble. Shane, I watched the Irish Times interview on the flight. It was well done. Okay, thanks, Shane. Yeah, I enjoyed that. It was about an hour long. It's doing quite well on his. I went and had a look at it the other day just to see what the numbers are doing. It's done about 20,000 viewings already. I bumped into, thanks for that, the super chat there. I'm not sure what currency it is, but thank you very much anyway. I'll tell you who I bumped into the other day, and I wanted to meet him down here, and I've never met him before. And that's, I think he calls himself Johnny Asia now, but you probably know him better as Johnny There's Something Happened. His channel is twice the size of mine. I think he's got 140 subscribers. And his videos get like 30,000 views in the first few hours. If one of my videos do 10,000 views in a month, I'm happy. But I met him. He's quite a nice guy. So Sean, who, if you know Hua Hin, Sean owns Hua Hin scooters and big bikes on 3218. He called me up and he said, look, I'm going to meet Johnny for a beer over at the Klansman. Do you want to come? And I said, yeah, I'd love to come. So I went over there. We had dinner, and it was actually Sean's birthday. So, I met him, and I dare say I'll meet up with him again for a drink. So, because that's a question people ask very often, have you met Johnny? So I've now met him. Perbert, did you leave a lot of stuff behind in the UK, or did you throw most of it out? So the way I did it, because I know you're planning to come out, right? So the way I did it, unfortunately, the problem is furniture and stuff, the things you have around the house, it's worth next to nothing. Now, for me, because I separated with my wife and she got her own house, a lot of things I was able to give her because I didn't want to throw them away, but they weren't really worth much. Every man has a toolbox in his garage with his screwdrivers and his hammer and everything you need to maintain the house, right? So obviously I gave that to her. Various plastic shelving I had in the garage, the lawnmower, the strimmer, anything I used in the garden all went to her. She didn't want any of the furniture or wardrobes. Now, luckily, when I sold the house, 2 young teachers, they were married with a young child. They were living in an apartment, and they didn't have a garden, and they wanted a place with a garden for the kids. And I asked them, because I had 2 nice sofas. We had a big lounge, And, I had various cupboards and chests of drawers and stuff. And they said, well, look, if you're going to throw them out, we would like to have them. I was like, great. So that saved me having to get rid of them. But in answer to your question, everything of any value are sold on Facebook. I just put it up. Things like I had like small 2-stroke generator. You don't get much for it, about £40 here, £30 there, £50 there, but it all adds up. And the stuff that I couldn't sell, I just got one of these big skips that you put on your front drive. I think it was about £110. I could keep it for a week. I broke the beds up, the mattresses, put them in there. Everything I just about exhausted what I could sell. My wife took what she took, and then everything else went in the skip. So I came over with just a suitcase and some I had my clothes and some personal documents, things like birth certificates, a few paper files I needed to keep, obviously my laptop, and I didn't bring any electrical anything. I brought the camera that I'm using now for this live stream. I brought that, Nexigo it's called. I brought this laptop with me that I bought about 4 years ago, and that was it. I came very light, and everything else you buy once you're out here again. Going at this rate, I'm going to have to fill this up. You'll find you have to buy everything again when you're out here anyway. And it's not until you've been living out here for a while you realize, I don't really need that, or now I need that. Like I bought a load of these polo shirts over with me, but I don't wear most of them because they're quite thick. In Europe it's cold most of the time, so the material's thicker. Out here they do lightweight, breathable materials that they make polos out of, and they're very light. They're great to wear. But the ones I brought from England, they look the same, exactly the same, but they're thicker. This one is fairly thick, but I've got the air conditioning on here. URL, do you think it does not feel like a Thai country, but mixed like Singapore is? Oh, okay, right. No, I don't think it hasn't got to that stage yet. I mean, obviously in the tourist areas, if you're around, say, Sukhumvit, around the Nana area, yeah, it looks like that. Obviously, Pattaya looks like that because that's a go-to destination for a lot of guys. Phuket with the Russians and everything. But the rest of Thailand is Thailand, Thai people. It doesn't look like Singapore or any of those places where it's mixed. People from all different countries. It's very much Thai. I mean, here where I am in Hua Hin, if you go to the Hilton Hotel area, it's a touristy area. Yeah, there's a lot of foreigners mooching around there. Couples. You don't get too many single guys come here. It's not that sort of town. But where I live here, I'm kind of 8 kilometers west from the beach, and it's all Thais. There's one of the foreigner lives in the street. He rents his place. But the rest of them, my neighbors are Thai. The shop at the end there, that's Thai. Everything in the village is Thai, basically. How you doing, Sean? Back from a run. Talking of a run, Sean, I haven't been to the gym for a while, and I'll tell you the reason being. I'm not making excuses. I don't like to go to the gym in the evening because I'm too tired, and I'm not an early morning person. I sleep quite late. I've tried to go to bed earlier. It's just not me because I worked in food and beverage. I was always up late checking the bars were okay in the hotels. We had bars that didn't close sometimes till midnight. Some of them had nightclubs. And I used to hang around, make sure everything's running well. So I used to get up early as well. But now I'm older, my body can't handle it. But I'd stopped going to the gym because the gym I go to, which is about halfway into town, when I like to go to the gym is around 4 to 5. Around 4 to 5 o'clock, because I can do my YouTube bits and pieces in the day, go out filming or editing, something like that, go to the gym about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, come back, have dinner, and then maybe go out for a couple of pints or something like that. But the problem is, where I was going, it was always full. They had 4 running machines and I couldn't get on them. If I went at 3, I was okay, but that's too early. So if I went at 4:30, there was always people on the running machine, so I stopped going. But I've since found another gym which is even closer, and it's about half the price. So I was paying 1,280 baht for a month. Okay, that's if you only join it a month at a time. It's cheaper if you go for 4 months or a year. But I was paying 1,280 baht. And this other one I found, which is a really quiet gym, but it's got 5 running machines and it's got an outdoor swimming pool, which the other gym didn't have. If I a month, and I can go there anytime. And so a guy who I met in a night market across the road, he was the one who told me about it, and he said it's never busy. It's never busy, and I'm looking forward. So what's happening is I'm actually gonna go to for the first time. I've been here 7 months now, believe it or not, and I'm actually I'm going up to Bangkok tomorrow for 2 nights to meet a friend who's flown in, and So I'm going to try and do a lot of stuff while I'm in Bangkok. So I was going to take, I don't want to drive up there because I don't like the drive from here to Bangkok, especially when you get into the city. So what I was going to do, I was going to take the bus from Blueport. I'm staying in a hotel in Soy. I'll be there for 2 nights. And then I'm coming back on the train with a friend who lives down here half the time and lives in Bangkok half the time. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to have a couple of good nights out. I hope I can deal with it. Sorry about this. The aircon makes me... gets the old nose twitchy. It should be okay now. So yeah, and I want to go around and try and buy some shirts. It's a bit difficult down here to find my size. You know, people assume I'm quite a small guy, and then they meet me for real. And I'm 6'1" actually. And I'm quite broad, you know, but people see me on here and they just assume I'm very small. So I'm going to do a bit of shopping. I want to go to Fortune Tam, buy a new selfie stick and some bits and pieces. If you don't know what Fortune Tam is, it's a kind of electronics mall, 3 floors of everything from PCs to lighting, selfie sticks, cables, computers, a bit like the old Pantip Plaza. So I'm going to fill my days like that. My girlfriend wants me to get some special cream from one of the clinics. And yeah, the time's going to go really, really quick. I'm looking forward to it. And I got really lucky as well because my friend Simon is down here at the moment. He's got a bit of business down here. So he's coming down quite regular. And he's planning to have lunch 12:30, 1 o'clock on Sunday, then drive back to Bangkok. So I said, well, I'll come with you. You know, I don't need to get the bus. So what he'll do, he lives in Bangwa. He'll drop me at the MRT station in Bangwa. And I can get a MRT 20 minutes straight into Asok, and then I'll take the not the BTS, the MRT, the underground train, not the overhead train. But I can get the underground train all the way from Bangwa to Asok, then change to the BTS, get off at Nana, and I've just got a short walk to the hotel. So that's quite convenient. And the train we take back from Bang Sue, that's leaving at 3:15 on the Tuesday. So I should get into Hua Hin about 7:30. Girlfriend will pick me up on the scooter. And yeah, it's planned quite well. Holding fam, will there be a national day of mourning for that's for the princess who died recently? I did ask my girlfriend about that. Yeah, there always is. I'm not sure exactly when or how long, but there will be for sure. How old are you? Who's that? Goer, is it? Go. I can't pronounce your name. I'm actually 66, believe it or not. I'm getting very, very old now. I used to have, my hair used to be black and it used to go across like that. In fact, I think I've got an old picture of myself somewhere. Have I still got it? I've got a picture of when I was about 25. Let me just see if I can upload it so you can have a quick look. It's quite funny when you look at yourself on old pictures. I actually lost loads of photographs. So when I was in the Middle East, I was friendly with some air stewards. I used to go to their apartments, and I had 4 books of photographs, you know, albums from my travels and working and stuff. And I didn't want to take them, and I gave them the money for the post. I said, "Look, can you post them back home for me?" And they said they would, and they never did. They kept the money, and unfortunately, I lost them. So. Right, I'm just looking here. Some of them are embarrassing, so I don't really want to show you. Maybe I could show you that one. No, I'm a bit embarrassed to show that one. No, okay. I think we'll give it a miss. I think we'll give it a miss. Old photographs. You look at yourself. Excuse me. You look at yourself, and it's quite embarrassing, actually. Right, Shane. Is there a plane from Hua Hin to Bangkok? Not at the moment, Shane, but they are extending and talking about that. So right now they're extending, widening the tunnel at the airport because they're widening the runway so they can take international flights. So they need some kind of special ticket from the CAA. Is it CAA? Whoever governs airports, okay, they have to have a certain specification to get this ticket. Then they can have international flights. At the moment, I think they just run a flight from Phuket to Hua Hin, and I've never seen a jet, to be honest with you. I see the odd helicopter going over and the odd light aircraft. There's a lot of military down here in Hua Hin, not right in the center, obviously, but you know, halfway between here and Chaam, they've got a canine training station, big place for dogs. They've got a paratroop regiment stationed here, so there's a big military presence. And so the airport, in answer to your question, yeah, they're talking about having a service from Bangkok to Hua Hin, but it sounds like it's going to be quite expensive because it's going to be a single prop. They were talking about a Cessna Caravan. I don't know if you know what one of those is, but it's a prop plane, basically, single engine prop plane. Thank you, Perbit. First and probably the only one today. Get a nice couple of pints tonight with that. Yeah, so yeah, So in a way, it'll be a good thing if international flights come in. When I say international, I mean I don't think they're going to have this, the Dreamliner come in from Heathrow or something like that. But it'll be more kind of like Hong Kong, Singapore, Japan, Korea. With Southeast Asia mainly, I should think, maybe India as well. Just they're trying to promote Hua Hin as a holiday destination. It is kind of overlooked a little bit. Okay. Sean, just watching you from start has just finished this week's stories, my Saturday morning entertainment. Okay, thanks very much. A man about a vlog. Oh, just very quickly. It's amazing the amount of guys who are ripping off the stories now. I went onto Facebook and there's a guy, he calls himself, I think it's, I forget the name of a channel, but something Asia, Sleep in Asia or something like that. And what he does is every time I read out a story, he captures the transcript, because you can do that now. It's very, very easy. Even in Word, you've got a microphone so it speaks, so you can capture it, right? So he puts on the stories. He captures all the transcript of the story, me talking. He obviously cuts out my kind of hellos, goodbyes, and opinions after each story. So he just has the stories, and then he doesn't record it. He just pastes it, copies and pastes it into Facebook, and he's got 90,000 followers. I've got 70 something, right? So he's got more followers than me on Facebook, and he's using my content or the guys' content who send them in. And I can't do nothing about it because it's a different platform. If it was YouTube, I could. There's several guys who do exactly the same as me. If I make a video about a subject, for instance, they'll make that same video. They don't steal mine. They just use the idea. If I make a video about, I don't know, Bangkok Poor Market, the next couple of days he'll have one on Bangkok market. Then I'll make one on a yellow book, the Thai house yellow book. Then he'll make one. It's, I don't know. People, they don't. There's a lot of people out there who don't have their much. They can't come up with their own ideas. Right, a man about a dog. Don't be embarrassed to show us your 25-year-old self. Okay. I think it's on my phone, to be honest with you. The one I want to show you, but because the ones on here, they're a bit naff. I'll upload it for next Sunday's stream. How are the hospitals in Thailand, especially for English-speaking tourists? Are they good? Have you had any experience with them? Yeah, I've had lots of experience with them. They're very, very good. But you pay for it, and depending which hospitals you go to, you'll pay. You've got to do your research. We've talked about this before. When I was in Bangkok, there was one particular hospital I went to. I had some cancer spots. Okay, they've been cut out. I had 4. They quoted me 68,000 to have one cut out, and I went to the Christian hospital on Ceylon, which is, again, it's a private hospital, not quite as glamorous inside, but I got it done for 8,900. Dentists and hospitals are very, very good, all of them in Thailand, but you pay. Right now, if I have something, I go to the government hospital. It's cheap, and some people are put off by it because they are crowded and it's full of. You walk in reception, like 100 Thais waiting to see a doctor. But down here, they've got a special clinic. You pay an extra 400 baht, and you come in the evening and you can see a doctor fairly quickly. You just got to call him in the day and find out when that doctor's there. Say if it was a dermatologist and I phoned up, I need to see the dermatologist, got something like I've got something coming up here. And she'll say, well, he's in on Thursday. What time do you want to come? I'll say 7 o'clock, and I'll go along, pay the 400, maybe wait 10 minutes, go in and see the doctor. And then, that's how it works here. I don't know if it's the same in Bangkok. Another one, Holden fan, your interview with Irish Times was great. Would you and Pete collaborate on your channel in the future? Well, you never know if people have been honest. He actually said to me that I was one of the easiest guys he's ever interviewed, because what I did was when I finished the subject I was talking about, I just didn't talk to him. I just stopped and waited for him. And then that was his cue to ask me a different question. Whereas when he interviews other people, they just keep talking and talking, or they're the other way. They just say 2-word answers, and it's a difficult interview. But at the end of it, he said to me, look, let's do it again in 6 months' time. But it won't be as interesting the second time, because any of the history that I talked about with myself, my divorce and, my career and what I did in different aspects at different ages, it was interesting on that interview, but to hear it again wouldn't be interesting, would it? So I don't know, really. Uncle Willie B, just renewed my passport. Amazing what 10 years can change. Yeah, I noticed that. I was looking at a picture of Simon and me from here. We were at Bangkok Poor Market must have been about 7 years ago, and we're both there with food on our fork. And I look at his picture now recently, and what a difference. What a difference. Let me see if I find that picture on here. I don't think I can show it from my phone, but I might be able to. I've got loads of pictures on here. You've seen the one where I'm in that Chinese army uniform, right? You pay $5 on the Great Wall of China and you can have your pictures snapped. I don't know if this will come out, but this was, I was about 28 in this picture, I think. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Really, can you? It doesn't really show, does it? Because of the glare there. That was on the Great Wall of China. Somebody colorized it for me with AI, so that's a different version there. But you can see the baby face there. I think that's the only one I've got on here when I was really young. Yeah. So yeah, I had to go out and buy a new phone this week because I did a video on the Klansman pub and I did an interview with Paul, the owner. It came out crystal clear. But then in the evening, this is never taking, it was the S22 I had, and I was doing some shots, interior shots in the pub, and they came out really naff. I used them, but they weren't very good. So I went out and got the, I just bought it last week. It's the Samsung Ultra, but 47,000 baht. I mean, that hurt, 47,000. That's nearly as much as the Scooby I bought for my girlfriend. But I do 90% of my filming, I think, on my phone, because you're inconspicuous, aren't you? Thank you, Michael. Does Hua Hin get really hot, wet in certain months of the year? Well, the whole of Thailand, if you're talking about the rainy season, the whole of Thailand gets rain in the rainy season and it's hot for the rest of the year. Hua Hin's no different, but the only difference in Hua Hin is that we do get less rain here for some reason. Somebody said it's something to do with the mountains that surround Hua Hin. But I've seen some heavy downpours since I've been down here. It's starting now. The worst months will be around October and November. That's when it will be raining every day, for like big long hours of the day. Now we get it for an hour and it stops. And one thing that worried me when I moved in this house, because obviously it's on a flat surface, the drainage didn't look great out the side, and they got holes. They're only about that round outside each house. And I thought, well, they'll block up really quick, especially the Thais, they just throw everything on the floor. And it rained really hard and it didn't flood. And I couldn't understand it. But apparently in the middle of the road, the drainage is like massive in the middle of the road, but it's underground. So I don't know how that quite works. But yeah, we've had rain where on the concrete on the front, I can see it's that deep, but it doesn't flood the soil. Okay, I definitely can't pronounce your name. Late night stream, normal time for you is 3:30 a.m. US go. Well, this is a normal time for every other Saturday. I do the Saturday stream about 6 hours earlier than the Sunday stream, and it's just I don't get as many people in this stream as I do on the Sunday streams, but it's just if anybody wants to come into a live stream, the hours are too late on a Sunday, they can come into this live stream. Glenn, how you doing? Good morning. Good morning, Pete. Hope you and the missus are well. Lots of company-owned condos, etc., being listed on real estate sites. People are panicking about the crackdown. Yeah, for sure. I think it's a good thing. Jason Finch, how you doing? Then, God, I haven't seen you in the stream for a long, long time. What a cheek to have people just steal your hard work and use it on their channel. So, yeah, I know it is, but I've kind of calmed down about it. I'll tell you why. People like to jump on the bandwagon. People think I'm earning loads of cash on YouTube. They think I'm rich. I'm not. I've still got a business in the UK that supports me. But what they do when you get people in there, they look at me and think, "Oh, look at this guy! He's just telling stories, and he's got 77,000 followers, right?" So they think I'll do the same. But people don't send them in stories, obviously, because they've just started. So they just steal them. Probably not just from me, but yeah. But it's a cheat. What can you do? Benny Siegel, do you know if they are going to reintroduce the ferry from Hua Hin to Pattaya? I've not heard anything about it. There were some posts on social media that said it was up and running again, but it's definitely not. And I don't think so, because they went out of business during COVID. I don't think anybody's planning to open up again. I don't think you're alone there, Jason. I'll put that up on screen. Shane, how much is a taxi from Bangkok to Hua Hin and how long does it take? It's quite expensive because it's quite a long journey. So you'll probably pay around the 2,000 baht mark. But you should get the bus, Shane. It's really easy. What you do, how long will it take? It'd take you about 3.5 hours. If you came down during like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock time, probably 4 hours. So the easiest way to get down here is you take the BTS to Eggermeyer. Now, if you look on Google, I think it's you know, when you get to the BTS station at Egamai, you've got 4 exits. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4, obviously, right? And if you look on Google and you put some, because this is how I did it, you just put which exit do I take to go to the National Bus Stadium. I think it will come up and tell you. I think it's number 3. And when you go out of that exit, it's right there. It's literally, you come down. There's a 7-Eleven. There's this big, huge bus terminal. You know, it's not a bus stop. It's a big. You know, they go to Pattaya, they go to Hua Hin, they go up country. The blue buses, you know, the big blue buses. Just go there, go to window. No, that's Pattaya number 1. Don't get tricked by the minibuses, because what they do, for instance, they'll hang out the window and say, Pattaya, leaving now, Pattaya, leaving now. And they drive like nutcases, right? You want to take the government bus, either the big blue bus or the 26-seater, and they're paid salaries. So, you know, the minibuses are only paid when their foot's on the metal. So that's why they drive like a bat out of hell. But what you do is I can't remember which window it is. You'll get there to the bus station and they leave every hour. You know, you don't have to book. Just be careful if you're going down on a Friday night, though, because that's when most people would want to go back. If you're going down on a weekday, you'd be fine. But you just get to that bus station. So BTS to Egamai, find out which exit. You come out, you can't miss it. You just buy a ticket. I think it's about 240 baht. And I think it's gone up to about 247 baht now. Okay, you'll get a dedicated seat with a number. The bus comes in. There's a lady who'll check your ticket. She'll check your ticket. If you've got a suitcase, they'll put it under the bus. And you hear stories like there's a guy in there rifling the bags when it's a load of rubbish, right? Load of rubbish. Safe as houses. The bags go under the suitcases go in the bottom of the bus. You get your numbered seat. They stop halfway so you can go to the toilet. It's the best way to travel, 240 baht. And then when you want to go back to Bangkok, you go to Blueport, which is one of the malls. There's only 2 malls here. And at the side of Blueport, there's a ticket booth. And all you do, you go there and you can book in a day in advance if you're worried about not getting back. You just go there and say, I'd like to book a ticket to Egamai bus station, pay for it there, come back the following day, and what time you book for, and you go back. So the whole trip's going to cost you less than 500 baht. You know, I mean, that's the way to do it. You don't want to be spending 4,000 baht on taxis. The only time I did it on a taxi was when I came here with my wife. You know, for the first time, I treated her, so I thought I don't want to put her on a bus. But my girlfriend and I, we used to come down on the bus. Okay, we read that. David, good morning, Peter. Good to see you up at it early on a dreary Saturday. Any thoughts on Singapore or Ho Chi Minh? I'm off there next week before Thailand. Well, the only thing I'd say is with Singapore, take plenty of money with you, because it's very, very expensive. Very expensive, okay? I don't know anything about Ho Chi Minh City. I've never been to Vietnam, but I am planning to go to Da Nang at some point next year with my girlfriend. How's the dog? Peter Barry says, he's good. He's getting big now. He's getting very big. A lot of hairs, you know. We have to groom him because he has... I thought, because he's got that big, thick coat, I thought, God, he must be so hot. But then I did a bit more research. He's actually got 2 coats of fur, and one of them actually keeps him cool. That's why they can deal with the heat here. But yeah, he's doing very well. We took him for his injections this week, just gone. He's got to go next month again, then that's it for a year. Because when we plan to go away, if me and her want to go somewhere in the car for a couple of days, like Bangkok or down south somewhere, there's a nice kennels here. It's a little bit pricey for Thailand. It's 600 baht a night, but they have air conditioning, and it's a very nice environment for dogs, you know, and that might socialize him a little bit more. If he's left with these dogs for a couple of days, he'll be shitting his pants for the first 24 hours, but then he'll get used to it. Ronald, the ferry question comes up every week. It does, and I answer it every week. Perbert, 20,000 baht isn't bad, but 3.5 hours is way too long. Well, it's way too long if you're only coming down for a short trip, but if you're coming down like me living here, going up to Bangkok once every few months, it's fine. I mean, you're not going to choose where to live just because it's close to Bangkok, are you? Or just because it's close to Chiang Mai? You know, you always have to travel. Pattaya is much more doable, I know, but there's no way we'd want to live in Pattaya. You know, there's no way. It's a much nicer town for a couple here. Hey then, hi Peter. Well, my eyes went, but I had the operation now, and old age has caught up with the means. I usually miss your live streams, but I thought I'd catch you this time. Okay, well, great. It's good to hear from you. There's very few people from the early days. You know, I mean, I look back at the streams I used to do during COVID. I've got 143 people in this stream. On a Sunday stream, I'll get in about 250 people. When during COVID, I used to get on average 500 to 600 people in every stream. I used to do Friday night at 10 p.m. and then I'd do Sunday night at 9 a.m. And that was only because It's nice to finish a bit earlier on a Sunday so I could watch a bit of TV. And, those streams, I remember a lot of the names that were in those streams are no longer, I don't see them anymore. And I don't know if it's, because they were bored during COVID or they're bored of me and they've just moved on. But there are a few people who have been watching me since day one, and they still come into the streams. They still watch the videos. But I would say a lot of people have moved on. And another thing that's happened, I've transitioned this channel now. I used to be a bit of a manga channel, during COVID, I'd be talking about go-go bars and prices and all that sort of thing. But there's so many people doing it now, isn't there? It's getting so boring now. Just filming Soy 6 and walking street and how much is it for a girl and all this. So I've kind of moved over to more of the retirement side. I still tell the stories because that's a mainstay of the channel, is reading out those stories. It always makes me laugh when people say, "Oh, you've made that up," or "ChatGPT did a great job this week." Always puts a smile on my face. But I've kind of transitioned the channel now. I'm concentrating more on things like visas, yellow books for houses, insurance, health insurance, things you might not want, things you need to know if you want to come out here and retire, your monthly budget, hospitals, that sort of thing. So I have lost subscribers that were mongers, but I've gained more subscribers who are more interested in, they're not interested in the bars, they're more interested in lifestyle and stuff, And I put Facebook posts up as well. In fact, I just put a post up today. I was filming my girlfriend from the side. I don't put a face on camera. She's still on it. She's been on the phone now for over 3 hours talking to her girlfriend. Okay. I don't mean intimate girlfriend, just a friend. Right. And, I don't know what they talk about. Her friend's in America, but she could be a friend in Bangkok, and she's on the phone like 3.5 hours. It's like, what the hell do you talk about? But keeps her out of trouble, I suppose. Jason, I support Peter's show. Thank you very much. Shane, 2,000 baht is okay for taxis. Just need a recommendation driver. Can't handle people after flying 4,000. Okay. Yeah, I used to use a lady. I've lost her details now. I can't even remember what her name was. But look, what I'd always say to people, if you're coming into Suvarnabhumi Airport, there's two ways you can get a taxi. You can either go down to the basement and take a ticket number. Sometimes it's a long way. But the thing I used to do, when I arrived into arrivals, I would go up I would take, I don't know what's going on here. Plenty of burping. When I used to arrive, I would go, so you're on the arrivals for departures upstairs. I would go to departures, go outside, and I'd grab a taxi there, because you've got all these taxis coming into the airport. They're dropping people off, then they're going back to Bangkok empty, or they're going downstairs to queue for a couple of hours, right? So if you grab a driver and you say to them, right, I want to go central Bangkok, 300 baht, 400 baht, something like that. And he says, oh, no, can't possibly do it. 1,000 baht. I mean, that's a ridiculous price, but I can't remember how much taxis were. Just say legitimately on the meter there, I don't know, 300-400 baht, because they never do. They don't want to put them on the meter, do they? But the point I'm trying to make is, if you grab one of those taxis on the departures, you've got a much better chance of getting a good price going into town. And if you're going down to Hua Hin, then the guy will bite your hand off, won't he? What a job. He thinks he's going back empty, and he's going to make a couple of thousand baht maybe, or a bit less. Who's that? Paul, is it? I'll put that other one up in a minute. Okay, I don't want to miss any of these. Ronald, you should do a video from the Klansman when Scotland or England are playing in the World Cup. Could be fun. Yeah, the only problem is I'll get done for copyright. Yeah, not even if it's in the background. Okay. Michael, thanks for the advice. Would you say November is too wet for a 5-day visit? No. November's... Look, the thing about the rainy season here, it doesn't rain from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed. You get a few hours of it. And it's normally around 4 p.m. till about 6, 7 o'clock. I've been laying on a hotel bed looking out the window. It's absolutely pouring rain. And I knew it was going to finish about 6. And it does, November's a great month to come here because it's high season. The temperature drops by about 10%. Just make sure you get, because it's wet, get some mosquito repellent to put on your arms and your legs from 7-Eleven when you go out. But no, it's a good month. Permit says, I like the manga channel material. Well, I still do a bit of it, in the members area, what I'm talking about, the stuff I'm talking about. but I can't do that for the rest of my life. And you've got those young guys in Pattaya who do it a lot better than I could. I mean, if you're into manga content and there's a guy living in Pattaya and he goes to Soy Six and he's going around the go-go bars, it's going to be a lot more interesting than an old man of 66 sitting in front of a camera just talking about it, isn't it? Did I say hi to you, Paul, there from Melbourne? Morning, Peter from Stoke-on-Trent. How you doing? Okay. Gringo Pop, just tuned in. We'll have to catch the replay. 0047 in Vancouver. Okay, fair enough. David Busler, is it? The hotel pickup are mad versus taxis. We always stay in Shangri-La and it's 4,000 to be picked up, but it's a Mercedes S-Class. Yeah, I mean, it depends what sort of a budget you're on, isn't it? I know you can go into Sawanapon and you can order a Mercedes. I don't know. I've never took one. I don't know what it's going to cost. But if you're a typical guy who's coming out here on a budget, you're staying in a 1,200 baht a night hotel, you're watching you got your holiday money, you got enough to have a good time, but you just, you just want to get into town, right? You don't care how you get into town as long as it's, got wheels on it and it doesn't break down. Different horses for courses, as they say. Baijan, how you doing? Greetings from sunny Hua Hin. Yeah, no rain today. Steve, coming in September and we'll be on a retirement visa. Is that what I should go for, day one or 30-day visa to get the detailed paperwork done? Just looking at how to start the entire process. Thanks. So what you want to do, Steve, is come in on a tourist stamp. It's not actually a visa. Go and see an agent to get your first one done because it's just so much easier. What will happen is you'll get a 90-day stamp first and then you'll get your retirement. If you go, I recommend Smile Visa on Soy, she'll kill me, 43, I think it is, or 44. You see it on Google Maps. It's opposite the Golf Villa Hotel. Ing, her name is. If you go in, if you shoot a message off to her, when you come in, you go straight to her and give her your passport and she'll do all the paperwork and stuff and she'll tell you the price. I actually do my own visa now. I used to, Mark from One Stop Visa used to do it for me. Because I used to help him out with some videos, so he used to do my visa. And but one of the benefits of being in Hua Hin, immigration is so helpful and it's quiet. It's not like Pattaya or Phuket. They're really helpful. I know in Bangkok, guys who go to immigration, that they've got something wrong on a stack of paper, one word's wrong or one number, and they've said, no, that's wrong. You have to go away, print it out again, come back tomorrow or something. Here, they're like really, really helpful. If you've made a mistake, they'll say, well, hang on, I'll do this for you. I'll give you an example, right? When I went to do my 90-day, the first 90-day report, you have to actually go to immigration. The rest of that, I've just done one online now. There's a immigration. It takes me 5 seconds. I'll show you what they ask. I just print this out. So that's all they ask. I'm not going to give you all my personal details. That's what they want to know, basically. The reason I've put the address in is because sometimes things like Ampur and district, I get mixed up. But they want to know, they want your passport number, what date you came in, when does your stamp run out, when does your retirement visa run out, and all that sort of thing. And the first time I went there, I printed a form off their website. You had to print off a form, and one of the questions was, what's your flight number? Well, I came 4 years ago, so I didn't know what to put in there. So I went to immigration. There's two girls sitting downstairs, and I said, look, I filled this in. It's all done, but I don't know what to put in for the flight detail because I came 4 years ago. And she said, no, you don't need that. You don't need that. She said, give me your passport. I'll help you. She disappears for about 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, what's going on here then? Had visions of being taken off in handcuffs. And she came down, big smile on her face. She says, there you go. And she put the paper in the back of the passport when it needs to be stamped next. And she'd gone off and done it for me. There was none of this like, oh, no, that's wrong. We don't use that form anymore. Or you need to go back and print it off again. Some of them, they seem to put obstacles in front of you. But here, they're really, really good, really good. And it cost me 1,900 baht, 1,900, okay? So really good. And I'm going to put out, I've done another video with Ing actually, just about visas and stuff, because I've actually got my Thai ID card now and my yellow housebook I'll explain it all in the video with Ing, but we talk about that. And some people, when I mentioned it on Facebook, I said I've now got my Thai ID and I've got my yellow house book, and some people say, oh, I've had that for years. Once I got it, I slung it in the drawer. I've never used it since. And Ing, I brought this subject up with Ing when we were chatting about it for the video's coming out next week, Tuesday for members and Saturday for everyone else. And Ing I put that to her, and she said, well, that's not right. She said, it can be very helpful if you use it properly. And I asked her, what benefits will I get by having this, and she was telling me, and other people were saying, oh, you've now put yourself on the Thai tax system. That 13-digit number is your tax system. But I asked her, it's not a tax number. It's basically just, Thais have a 13-digit registration on their ID card, right? They have to change every 10 years their ID. And I've got that 13 digits, so it means I'm now in the system, but it's not a tax number. But that'll come out. We'll do that next week. Okay, that was just from that one comment about the visas there. Colin says, what's a monga? The easiest way to explain it, Colin, is somebody who goes to a town like Pattaya. He likes to entertain the ladies, if you know what I mean, but he won't stick to one. He'll change every day or every other day. So he'll come out here with the intention of dating the pretty ladies, the pretty girls, and it will be pay for play. You know what I mean? I will leave it at that. The driver, that's right, Apple. The driver was Apple, wasn't it? Cool, yes. The number of videos about bar girl versus freelancers, and it's just someone rabbiting on while filming them walking down some street in Pattaya. Yeah, I mean, I've done a few of those videos, but not about bar girls. Shane, if you contact me by email, I'll come back to this comment. I won't be able to find it now, will I, if I put that up? Let me just I'll put my email address up there, Shane. If you can freeze it, as it were. I won't leave it up there for too long. Right, send me an email and I'll try and send you Apple's details, because I think I've got them somewhere. And you can actually write to her. You can line her WhatsApp, whatever, and she'll give you a price. But if you do speak to her, tell her I want to go with you, Apple. I don't want, because sometimes what she used to do that kind of peed people off, I'd give somebody Apple's contact details, and she was busy, so she'd get one of her mates, like a guy, to turn up at the airport, and he was driving like a nutcase. There were two girls in particular were really fed up about it. So if you do contact her, just say, look, Apple, it has to be you as a driver. If you're sending somebody else, I don't want to know, right? Okay, so what were we talking about now? I knew I'd forget. The driver was Apple, 30-day visa. Okay, I have to come back. Just say thank you to Checkbound, as always, for that. Get a beer on you. Hi, Peter. Hope you and everyone are doing well today. I'm going to open day at a brewery here in Czech Republic, so I have lots of beers, and here's something for you to have a couple of beers on me as well. Cheers. Don't get too drunk. Well, get drunk, but don't get in trouble. That's what I meant to say. Oh, okay. We're going to talk about those videos, weren't we? Yeah. So that was the bottom half of your thing. So you're saying, I'll just read that bit again. The number of videos about bar girls versus freelancers, and it's just somebody rabbiting on while making them walking down some street in Pattaya. So occasionally what I'll talk about a subject that could be helpful to people. So I'll talk about one video made was called Is Pattaya in Decline? And I wasn't talking about bar girls or prices or anything like that. I was talking more about the demographics of people who go there, as opposed to 25 years ago. What Pattaya was actually like back then, before it became industrial, like Las Vegas, with big groups of people, Chinese walking down Walker Street with a flag, and I was kind of saying, I was kind of comparing it, the old days, I was kind of comparing it to somewhere you went when you were ducking and diving, and you didn't, you told your missus you were going off for a weekend fishing or something, off a pier. And now it's very commercial. It's all over the internet. I'm part of the blame as well, aren't I? So that video was just called Is Pattaya on the Decline? And it was just me talking, but the background video was Walking Street and Beach Road. So I do make those sort of videos myself sometimes. But if I'm going to talk about, prices and, 10 things not to do in a go-go bar or something like that, then I'll do it like this with a green screen. 4 years ago, I did make a video called 20 Things Not to Do in a Go-Go Bar, and everybody's done it now. That one particular video has done 1.2 million views. Can you believe that? It's a lot of people. Ronald, the Saturday stories are still manga focused. Okay, well, I can only read out what people send me. I don't want to make up stories because I think people would find out. I don't want to stop the stories because that's the mainstay of my channel. So whatever anybody sends me in, that's what I'm going to read out. And obviously people find them interesting because people still watch them. Glenn Hotspur, how is Hua Hin now? We are well into low season and the local market's doing okay with just residents. It's very quiet. It's very, very quiet. And in fact, I don't know if this is true, but I've heard stories of bar staff, restaurant staff knocking on doors trying to get a few hours extra because their hours have been cut down or they've been laid off. You notice it big time. You know, a market like Bangkok in the middle of town, even that, you know, that's packed every night in high season. If you get there after 6:30, you won't get a seat, and it's a huge market because the food's cheap, the drink's cheap, and it's international food as well as Thai food, and it's a nice outdoor environment. But yeah, I notice it. I went over to a local market here called Lunar Market, normally about 7 o'clock. You know, it's 90% full. I went the other, okay, it had been raining, fair enough, but it was dry when I went over there, and there must have been, I don't know, 4 tables. So I noticed it in the shopping malls as well. The shopping malls can be busy, but you can see the guys in there are residents because what they're doing, they all have Thai girlfriends and they're pushing around a trolley, right? And if you're on holiday on your own, you wouldn't be pushing around a trolley full of baked beans and loaves of bread and trays of eggs and stuff like that. So a lot of the guys who live down here, I think they meet girls outside of Hua Hin. They come here like I did on vacation. And I think this is a nice town, you know, to come here with my girlfriend. I don't think they actually meet them here. And the bars especially, I went out last week with Simon. I don't often go out to the bars. And if I go out, I like to go in the kind of bars where you can just sit and talk and have a drink, a little bit of live music, something like that. I don't like to compete with music when I'm talking, shouting. You know, I hate those sort of bars. I don't like to be bothered by bar girls because I'm not interested now. But I went out with Simon, and he's one of those guys. He still goes out to, like, he sent me a photograph this morning because he'd gone out last night. And it was off his balcony, and daylight was coming. It was like, you know, when it's like when the sky is kind of that it's not dark, but it's not light. It's in between. And I think he said he got back at about 4 or 5 in the morning, something like that. I couldn't do that, but you do notice it now. You go around. I went for a drink with him in Wonderland, and there's 1 or 2 bars. I've got a few girls in that have got a few customers, but a lot of them are struggling, really struggling. Benny, is it Benny Siegel? I'm 52 years old and wanting to live in Thailand. A friend has recommended trying to get a DTV visa. Do you know of this visa, and do you agree it's the best visa to get? It's not the best visa to get. I know it very, very well. So the thing about the DTV visa, Destination Thailand visa, they promoted it as an alternative to kind of getting a 30-day stamps for tourists. Excuse me. And it was aimed at digital nomads, most of all, you know, guys who they can work on a laptop, you know, they're some kind of IT engineers. They work for companies abroad. You couldn't come here and work and get paid in Thailand, but you could get paid by a foreign company. And they promoted it as a good visa for that. It's not. A lot of people complaining about it now. You can't even open a bank account on a DTV visa now. You know, I mean, a Thai bank account. If you come in here and you want to come long term, if you're over 50, just get the retirement visa. It just saves so much hassle. And if you are coming to Hua Hin, if you didn't say you're coming to Hua Hin, did you? No, just if you're 52, so get the retirement visa. You don't want to get the DTV visa. Believe me, it's you'll gain so much. If you go to an agent and ask her what the difference is, you won't want to go for the DTV visa. I know people who are on it. Excuse me. And they regret it, so I wouldn't bother. As I say, they kind of sold the idea of the visa as great for digital nomads, people who wanted to stay for up to 6 months, you know, that sort of thing. But like I say, right now you can't even open a Thai bank account on a DTV visa. Perbert, when you hang things to dry versus using a dryer, are your clothes crusty feeling? Not really. No, I know what you mean. Like when I used to because of water. I don't know what's up with my throat today. Let's get it all out. I know what you mean. Like the water in the West is hard water. It is in England. So when I used to shave in England, I used to cut myself a lot. But here, I don't. Well, there's a few little spots I shaved this morning. But when when she hangs the clothes out, no, not at all. They were sometimes in Bangkok. I don't know why. Maybe it's the dust. I don't know, off the balcony, but not here. David, I hope you do another with Bangkok Pat stream, or even on and out and about. Well, he's supposed to be coming down to Hua Hin. I can't tell you what he was going to do because it let the cat out of the bag. But yeah, I mean, we didn't talk for a while, for about a year or so. And Pat contacted me out of the blue one day and said, look, you know, I forget what he contacted me about. But then I did a live stream with him. And yeah, I'd have him back in here. I'm thinking about bringing Dave from Alpha Omega again back in, because that was quite lively. But I was kind of thrown off. His son came into the stream and I was thrown off by that. You know, I don't want to do another one where his son's there. I mean, it's his son, fair enough. I'm not saying anything bad, but it really kind of put my... I'm not one of those guys who can multitask. You know, if I'm doing something, I need to be focused on that one thing. And that kind of swung me off a little bit. In fact, at one point I'd say, look, I'm going to have to finish this stream, Dave. I can't, you know. Ricardo, I can hear Binto barking in the background. It's probably must be from your end then, because he's not barking. He doesn't bark very often. Ren says, is it? I was and still follow you, even was there when you went first time live stream with Simon. Okay, well, thank you. That's a long time, but that wasn't my first live stream with Simon. Simon came along later. Then he got kind of bored with it. And I've actually asked him, I said, why don't you come in a live stream? I've asked him twice now because he's down here at the moment. And I said, well, I suppose he's seen customers, but I said, why don't you come in a live stream? Just come in for 20 minutes, half an hour. And he said, it's not my thing. I don't think he really likes you going onto YouTube. Check bound. I rarely get drunk these days, but today I will be quite tipsy. Don't blame you. Herbert, Apple charges absurd amount if it is her and overpriced if it is one of her people. Years ago, she quoted 2,000 for one of her people and 2,500 for her in an SUV Bangkok to Pattaya. Yeah, I mean, I have heard that, but the thing is, she used to get a lot of business, and you know, there's only so many hours you can drive, and if you're turning people away, that's what businesses do, don't they? If a restaurant is full every night, rather than turn people away, they'll increase their prices, so it increases their profit margin. So I can't talk for her, but I'm guessing that's what happened. You know, it's each to his own. I mean, if somebody wants to use her, I mean, the good thing about her is if she takes you down, it's nice company because she speaks English. She's nice. She's married now. She wasn't married when I knew her. And but it's nice company going down with a woman, isn't it? And you can have a nice, pleasant conversation, and you know, ask her to stop and grab a coffee on the way, something like that, as opposed to some old guy, you know, who's got, you know, I won't even go there. Right. Paul Harrison, how's things? Yeah, going very well, thanks, Paul. I'm off to Bangkok tomorrow. Looking forward to it. I'm actually going up to meet a guy. I'm going up to meet Jim. Now, you must be familiar with Jim. He comes into the stream. He's not in it today. That's because he's in Bangkok having fun. But he goes by the name of Alf. God, where is it he comes from? Alfretta Jim. His username is Alfretta Jim. And I was good friend. He was a viewer, and I met him for dinner a couple of times in Bangkok. And we started meeting up, and we've become very good friends, as I did with quite a lot of viewers in Bangkok who live there or came in regular. And he used to run a call center. Well, he still does. He was based in the Philippines, and he ran a call center for one of the big telephone companies in America. You know, they have their call centers in Philippines because they speak English and it's cheaper for them. And then they pulled him back to the US, but he still has to go to the Philippines for a week at a time. But he's just booked his downtime, as it were, and he's got a nice Thai girlfriend here who's friends with my girlfriend. And he just said, I'm flying. And I said, look, I'll tell you what, a good excuse for me to come up to Bangkok. My girlfriend's going to stay here with the dog, so I ain't got to worry about the dog. I'm going to have 2 nights of fun up in Bangkok, and then it'll give me an opportunity to do some shopping in the daytime. Because the thing about living in a place like Hua Hin, yeah, it's nice and relaxing. It's a beach town. It's cheap. But sometimes, you know, I can't get shirts my size, or there's certain things I can't get. She uses a particular cream because she had some laser surgery. Just see, you know, some of the Thai girls, quite a few of the Thai girls, they get this brown patches here, almost like, you know, the kidney, like these kidney, they call them kidney marks. When you get older, these brown marks here. Well, a lot of the Thai girls, they get that in the face just here. So she went to a clinic and she had it all taken out. So her face doesn't have that anymore, but she has to use a cream for about a year, and she can't get it down here. So I've got to go to the clinic where she had that done, which is easy. It's Plonchit Centre, just after the Plonchit Centre, and get her some cream, which is 1,000 baht. What can you do? I took her on. So, right. Then the Saturday stories will be about encounters with Thai girls, mostly disasters, because just short time fun doesn't make a story, of course. And I've even expanded now. I always say on the stories, look, it doesn't have to be from Thailand. If you've got a quirky story, send it in. It doesn't have to be about bar girls. It could be about anything. And I do get the odd story now from Philippines, Vietnam. I even had a lady send me in a couple of stories about 2 years ago. She was from Mexico, but she used to listen to the story and she liked them. She doesn't. I haven't heard from her for a long time. I think a cheese that pissed her off a bit, because she sent me a story and it was really boring. It was just like an itinerary, and I rarely turned down a story. And I just wrote. I said to her, "Look, really, thanks for sending this in, but it doesn't really fit with the channel, and I haven't heard from her since." Have a whiskey for that cough, Peter. Probably why I've got the cough, Rod. Too much whiskey last night. Oh, yeah. Then. I never went to Pattaya ever. Bangkok was plenty for me, and it was always 2 weeks fun and back to the UK. I would consider moving to Thailand. I wouldn't consider moving to Thailand, even if I could do it. Well, I didn't really have a lot of choice, did I? I mean, it was either move to... I separated with my wife for 33 years, and, I was 62 at the time, and what did I have to look forward to in the UK? I would have rented a one-bedroom flat, or would have bought a one-bedroom flat. What have I got to look forward to? The TV, maybe the odd night down the pub talking to guys who are moaning about the government and paying their taxes and all the rest of it. Or I could pack up and come to Thailand, meet a beautiful woman who's 18 years my younger, get lucky, and she's got the mortgage. I'm in the sun. It's not perfect out here. I've made videos and said, when you first come out here, it's exciting, but when you come out here, you live a normal. When you move out here, your life goes normal like it does wherever you come from. Yes, you're living in the sun. Yes, you've got nice food. It's cheaper and all the rest of it, but you still have to pay your taxes. You still have to, you still have to sort your water bill out, your electric bill out, your mortgage, your rent. You still go shopping on a weekend. You still have to do your laundry. It's not like when you come here on holiday, you give your laundry to reception, you get it back the next day. You go and eat all your meals in a coffee shop or a nice Thai restaurant outside. You don't worry about anything. You get up at 12 o'clock because you've been out in a bar all night. Your life becomes normal here. You do live a normal routine life. But there's no way. I've got a backup plan. If it all went wrong here, I'd go and live in Siem Reap. I just don't want to go back to the UK. I've got nothing to go back there for. I've got no relations now. I've got my 2 daughters, and they're coming out to see me in November, providing the airline brings them out here, because I bought their ticket ages ago. And that's it. What do I want to go back for? How much does a retirement visa cost? Well, if you go to immigration, it's about 1,000. Well, it's 1,900 baht. But then you want to get a multi-entry stamp on there, which is about 5,500 baht. Or you can get what I normally do, I just have one, not a multi-entry. I have one entry. So basically, what happens if I have an emergency, like my daughters are in hospital or something, I don't need to worry about losing my. Once you got a retirement visa, if you go out and you haven't got a multi-entry, your retirement visa's gone. You've lost it, and it has happened to guys before. So I just pay for one stamp. So if there's an emergency, I can go home. I ain't got to worry about it. I come back and I've still got my retirement visa. If you use an agent, it's expensive, but it's easy with an agent for your first one, because the first one is difficult. I don't know. Down here, though, it's pretty easy. It's just, you think about it, this is Thailand. It's the same process. It's the same immigration, but it's not, if that makes sense. It's completely different down here. It's just so much easier. Shane says Philippines before Cambodia for me. Okay, I'm not really a Philippines guy. I went there once, and I just didn't take to the place. I'm not knocking it. A lot of guys live out there. I know it's cheaper out there, and they've got the language and everything, but it's just, I don't know, it didn't click with me. Jason, get Simon to just pop into the stream for 10 minutes to say hello. It would be nice to see him again. I'll actually show him this comment. Let me screenshot it. That'll be too much hassle, won't it? No, I can screenshot it. I'll just where are we? Screenshot. God, I can't find it. There we are. Print screen, and then I'll copy it. Full screen. Okay, I'll do that after. I'll make a note, because I don't want to go off and open the software now in case it crashes the screenshot. Okay, where are we? Just very quickly, I'm just jumping to the bottom there. Somebody said, Why would you ignore your comments from your followers? Well, I don't ignore them. Sometimes I miss them because I'm talking about a subject and the comments are continually moving. And if I've missed yours, you just rewrite it again instead of leaving silly comments like this. Okay. And I've already explained why I don't think the DTV visa is the best visa in the world. There are better options. I don't, okay, not silly comment. I apologize for that, but don't automatically assume I'm missing it, because sometimes I don't look at the comments and I just talk about a certain subject and your comment might go through. But if you write it again, I'll probably pick it up the second time. Okay. Right. All right. Where are we? Yeah, Gringo Pop. The cops may swing by soon, Peter. Please make sure you only have Thai food on your table. I was taking the mickey. I made an egg roll. Like I bought this metal circle that if you crack an egg open, it stays that size. So I put it in a bun, and I was showing people on Facebook, and people said, like, you'll have the Thai food police pop round. Because every time I put a video up where I'm eating some Western food, people are like, "You're in Thailand. Why are you not eating Thai food?" I get it every time. Then, I applaud anyone who makes a new life in Thailand, but life works for me in the UK. That's fair enough. I know several guys who are the same. Like Damon, he's a perfect example. He's not in the stream right now, but what he does, he's got a nice house where he lives in southern England, and he's built a house for his girlfriend of 17 years up in Buriram, and he comes out here about 4 times a year for a couple of months, sometimes 3 months. But yeah, I mean, he enjoys his time. He's got a nice motorbike that's his toy in the UK, and he enjoys going out for walks, and it's brisk, not like here hot all the time. It's not for everybody, but for me, for me, right? Let me just put this one to bed. You put the DTV visa is for under 50s. Yeah, I get that. So if you're under 50 and you can't get a retirement visa, that would be a good option, because you can't stay here on tourist options, right? The reason I didn't mention if you're under 50, because the guy who was asking me about it said he was 52. So all I said was, if you're 52, the better option for you long term is a retirement visa. Okay, I hope I've now answered that one for you. Right, I'd like to visit, but the tax/money thing is bothering me. Okay, well, I don't want to get into the tax too much here. You better if you watch. There's a lot of channels on YouTube that actually specifically talk about tax in Thailand and that sort of thing. You can look at them. I don't want to give you any wrong information. Uncle Willie B, I have a 10-year multi-entry visa for China. Does Thailand have something similar? I'm not a visa expert, but I do know they have these elite visas where they do last for 10 years, but they're very, very expensive, Okay. Fair point. If you have the funds, apologies for any confusion. No, that's fine. You don't need to apologize. And I did jump on you a little bit there. So I've only got so much time on a live stream, and if I talk about every detail of every subject, I'll be here for like 6 hours. But as I say again, the guy said he was 52 and he didn't know. He was inquiring about the visa. So that's another good point. The retirement visa, you do need the funds, either 65,000 baht a month coming in, or you need 800,000 baht in the bank. I think it's 4 months before you apply for it. Not everybody's got that kind of money. Okay. I wasn't saying the DTV visa is a bad visa. I'm just saying it's a better option for somebody. The retirement's a better option for somebody who's over 50, if they have quite rightly, like you said, if they have the funds. Okay. Where are we now? Gravel Billy 1, you're looking stunning today, Peter. Thank you very much. Stunning. Wow. Been a long time since anybody said that. I'm actually still on the injections. I'm still overweight. I weighed myself this morning. I'm 104, just nearly 105 kilos. I would be a lot more if I wasn't on the injection. But as I said at the beginning, I found another gym that is nearer to me. It's much more quieter. It's a bit cheaper, and they have a nice outdoor swimming pool. So I'm going to start going there at least 5 times a week, around 5 o'clock. And that's when gyms normally start to get busy, and that one isn't. Thank you, Gravel Billy Boy. Okay. Right. And you're saying, do I want to go to Thailand? Heck no, I just enjoy. Okay. There's a lot of people who come. It's not living here is not for everybody. There's a lot. Is it raining? No, it's a sheen. I want to wash the motorbike. So under the carport after this, I've got a power washer, with a bottle for the soap on it. It's actually good fun. Not that it's expensive to get it washed in town. It's hardly worth washing it because it's rainy season now. when we go through the central road that goes through the center of the village, it floods. We can drive over it, but it's quite, it's about that deep. Yeah, living here is not for everybody. I mean, I kind of, I suppose when you watch me, I kind of paint it as a dream come true. It's very nice. I enjoy it. I'm really lucky. I've had a lot of luck when I come out here. Not everybody's got good. I keep looking at the CCTV. It's hard not to look at. Not everybody has the luck that I've had. I've had two very good bits of luck when I come out here. One, I met a very, very nice girl on Tinder. The horror stories. It is possible. So I wanted to talk a little bit about dating. Okay. So when guys who haven't been out here, they listen to the horror stories, some of the horror stories that I read out on a Saturday about guys who meet girls on dating sites and she turned out to be just a gold digger and she's got a Thai boyfriend in the background, or she's seen multiple men and all this sort of thing. And nobody wants to date a woman like that, right? And but you can find diamonds in the rough. But the problem these days, it's a lot more difficult to find a nice girl on a dating site than it was, say, 5-10 years ago. And the reason for that is there was only so many guys would come out to Thailand because it wasn't all over the internet like it is now. I'm to blame for that as well, I know. But there's so many people coming out here now. It's almost turning into another Ibiza down in places like Pattaya and Phuket, and all the talk of girls and stuff. And, I'm sure there's a lot of guys, they're going to go on dating sites. So the competition is a lot more tougher. And because there's a lot of guys, foreign guys going onto dating sites, there are Thai women who go on there specifically to try and hook up foreign guys to get money or support them and all the rest of it. So it's really difficult. So you're walking through a minefield to try and find that nice girl that you want to date. But they are about. People say to me, look, I'm coming out for 2 weeks. I don't want to go with a bar girl. I want a nice girl. Well, you're not going to get a nice girl in 2 weeks, okay? It's the same as your own country. A nice, respectable Thai girl, you're going to have to work. You're going to have to work with her like you would a normal woman. There's some things that might put you off. When you go on your first date, if she's a nice girl, she'll probably come with a friend, chaperone. That's very normal in Thai culture. Some guys get put off by that and think, oh, she's trying to scam me. She's brought a best friend for me to pay food with. I know a guy. He met a girl, supposedly quite nice girl. She brought her friend for dinner, and he actually turned around and he said, well, I'll buy you dinner, but I'm not buying her dinner. I didn't invite her. The two of them stood up and walked off. And who can blame them? So I've had a couple of bits of luck here. So my two lucks is I met a really nice woman, okay? Hardworking, not now, but she was hardworking, never been married, no kids. I know the family, everything. She doesn't have to send money up country or anything like that. She's not from East End, she's from Lopbury. That was my first bit of luck, and I'm still with her now, nearly 4 years. Okay, so we're in a great relationship. We got on great. We have a lot of fun. We have arguments. We both stormed off on our motorbikes the other night, but come back the same evening, everything was back to normal. I had a few drinks. She went to a local market, and so that was my first bit of luck. My second bit of luck was I thought I would be living in rented accommodation for the rest of my life because foreigners can't buy land here. Okay, and I don't really have the funds to buy an apartment outright. And I don't think I'd really want to buy an apartment outright because they're difficult to sell here, aren't they? So my second bit of luck was my girlfriend was able to get a mortgage on this house. That's enabled me to live in this house with her. And we've got plenty of living space, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, nice big outdoor areas. It's lovely in the morning. I make a mug of coffee and I can just open the back door and step outside and watch the dog do his business and have a walk around. And it's nice. In Bangkok, I came out onto a little balcony. What other luck I've had? And the other luck is that I've got fairly successful YouTube channel, so it gives me something to do in the daytime. Otherwise I'd be around kicking my heels. What can I do today? So it's not for everybody living out here. But if you're one of those guys, you enjoy where you come from, and you've got family, and I think I'm going to make a video soon about reasons. There's a lot of things you won't think about that you come out here to live, and you won't give it a second thought, and then after a few months, they'll hit you. Just simple things like when you're at home, you've got your friends you used to work with, your family, going down to the corner shop and buying a newspaper, things like that. Anyway, I'm going on about it. If I think of any more things, I'll put it down in a video. Ronald, isn't it hard to inject yourself? Now, just in case anybody's just come into the stream, we're not talking about like you see in the movie. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the weight loss pen. No, it's very, very easy. So what it is a pen. It looks like a cigar, okay? You unscrew the top of it, and then the needles, they're only about that high, the needles. They're not like, you think of a needle, you're thinking of a syringe and a needle that long. They're not those types of needles. So what happens, it comes in a little kind of plastic almost like a thimble. You take the top off and the needle's sticking up like that, okay? And it's about that much. And you take the pen and you just push it straight down on the needle, twist the pen, and it locks the needle into place, okay? And then at the bottom of the pen, you've got a kind of wind up with numbers, and it will go to number 1 and it won't move anymore. So you wind up the pen and you see these lines moving and it clicks. You know, that's not a click, was it? But so you wind the pen up until you see number 1. You turn it up and you just give it a little bit of just a little bit to a spot of liquid comes on the top of the needle. So there's no air in it, okay? And then what you do, you can inject it anywhere. But what I do is I just put it into my stomach. I don't even feel it going in because, like I say, it's only that much. It goes in. I press the top where I've been winding it. It puts in 5 milligrams into my body. I unscrew the needle again, chuck it in the bin safely, you know, and then put the top back on the pen, and then the pen stays in the fridge. And then I've got 4 needles, so it lasts for a month. It does work. I'm not losing a drastic amount of weight, but I'll tell you what it does. Sometimes it doesn't always work the same for me. Sometimes it takes away my appetite and I just don't want to eat. It gets to 6 in the evening, I'm still not hungry. That's rare. I rarely eat before 12:30, 1 o'clock. In fact, I never eat breakfast. I don't get up early anyway. But what it stops me doing is eating at night. I used to be a devil for it. I used to be terrible. What would happen is I'd be at home. I'd have Netflix or something on. I'd be watching TV, and you know, it's like you have a couple of cans of Chang or something like that. I might have feel like, you know, I've got a bottle of whiskey on the shelf. I think so I have a few whiskey and sodas I drink. And then it gets to about 11:30, you think, oh, I'm hungry, you know, and you're in a house, you open the cupboards and there's all goodies in there. You know, I've got a toaster so I can have a cheese and onion toasty with brown sauce or something like that. And I used to do that and then go to bed, and I'd wake up bloated. And, you know, that's when you put the weight on, isn't it? And the beer as well. But, you know, I don't want to be a priest, actually, so the beer stays. So it stops me eating late at night. The other thing it does, I can't eat a big portion now. I think I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, I went out for a curry, and you know, a typical curry I'd have like something like a chicken. Let's just get rid of that. I'd have a chicken madras curry in a nice copper what do you call it? You know how it comes out, right? A yellow rice and a piece of naan bread, and I could waft that down, no problem at all. Now I go with my girlfriend, we share it. We don't have any bread. Excuse me. I'll have just a quarter of the rice and half of the curry, and I'm bloated. I can't eat anymore. So that's how it works. Okay, Shane, walking every day does wonders. Get on the step counters. Yeah, Shane, you're right. And I really used to enjoy going to the other gym I went to. It was a bit more expensive, but I don't know if you were in the beginning of the stream, but what I actually said was, the reason I stopped going is because my perfect time for the gym is about 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, because I'm tired at night. After 7, 8 o'clock, I'm tired. You know, I'm not young anymore, right? So I get tired. I can't do daytimes really because I'm not a morning person. I'm normally doing YouTube editing or filming. So 4 or 5 o'clock, I used to go to the gym. There was no, I like the running machines just for brisk walking. I couldn't get on the running machine. So every time I went, there's no point. This new gym, it's not very crowded at all. And, you know, 4 or 5 o'clock, somebody who already goes there said, there's always like 3 running machines empty, 4 running machines. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to do my trip to Bangkok tomorrow, back on Tuesday, and then I'll probably start in the gym on Wednesday or Thursday when I've caught up with everything. Farang Travels, Thailand or UK? What's the question? Gravel Billy 1, is it? Everything I knew about Thailand before your channel was the Hangover movies. Yeah, no, I've never actually seen those movies. It's not the sort of stuff I watch, to be honest with you. You're also lucky your divorce wasn't too, I can't say that word. How do you pronounce that? A criminal. I've never even seen that word before. I'll put it up there. You'll think I'm really thick now. Like I've mentioned many, many times before, my wife and myself ended our relationship very orderly, very friendly. We didn't hate each other. We just came to a crossroads where it just wasn't working anymore. You know, 33 years is a long time to spend every day with a person. You know, for 10, 15 years, we were in separate bedrooms. That was because I used to work and our hours were just, you know, wrong. And originally it was so we could both get a decent sleep, and we never ever moved back in. The kids were young. I think if the kids hadn't been around, I would have been away a lot quicker. But we just got to the stage in life where we didn't hate each other. There was just no point staying together. We'd raised a family successfully, 2 healthy grown-up girls that are now working. One's got her own business. So they're doing their own thing. And my wife and I wasn't particularly happy in England. She wasn't particularly happy in our relationship. And we just decided, it was the right time to do our own thing. When I sold the family home, I gave all the money to her. If you watch Irish Times, you'll understand why I did that. But, we didn't have lawyers involved. We weren't fighting and in court every week. Okay, we got a lawyer involved just to sign an agreement that me and her made between us about certain assets. But we didn't go to court and have fights and all the rest of it. And we're still kind of friends. I don't contact her anymore. But Grave Billy Boy says, Billy one. I give cows injections. Okay, I'm hungry now. Says Grave Billy Boy again. Holden fan. I think if you are moving anywhere, you have to set up a good routine. Live, you have I'll read it again. I think if you are moving anywhere, you have to set up a good routine. Live you have, Peter, if you would like to have a successful move. I think what you're trying to say there, if you're going to move anywhere, you can't just move. You got to set up your routine, and you have. I mean, I know guys here, their routine is they work out. They wake up early, they walk around a local lake, for instance, for an hour, come back, have a bit of breakfast, and then maybe do a few emails and stuff, and then they go to the gym in the afternoon and they have a swim, and they go to bed early and they get up early, and people do different things. There's cycling clubs down here. There's lots of things to do in Thailand. The best place to meet people is on Facebook groups. I don't mean just individuals, because there is a lot of horrible people on Facebook as well. But there's a group that I'm a member of on Facebook, or I'm not a member. What's the word I want to use? I'm in that group. It's called Life in Hua Hin, and stuff always comes up on that group. Something's happening at Blueport. Like what came up the other day was, the Thais, what they like to do outdoors. They have a big session of, say, women who are dancing, the exercise routines at 6:00. Well, they do that here at Blueport now. And I'm not going to go, obviously, but I showed it to my girlfriend and said, you should go, meet some new friends over there. I put spam in my shopping list. Do you know what spam stands for? Do you know what spam stands for? It stands for special. Let me get this right now. Special processed American meat, and it was basically spam was developed for the soldiers in the Korean War, because it would keep for a long time in a can. And what happened? My wife, being Korean, she still eats spam to this day, and I'm like, "What are you eating that for? We've got good meat in the fridge. Have a steak." And she's like, "The Koreans, they love spam, because what used to happen? The American soldiers had this canned meat. Well, the food in the Korean War, they didn't have meat, but they had vegetables. So what would happen is the Americans would give the spam to a Korean family. They'd make a dish with vegetables, rice, potatoes, whatever, and they'd slice up the spam and they'd fry it, and they'd give the American soldier a portion of. So he had fresh vegetables and spam, and they had meat in their dinner, and it became almost a delicacy in Korean. My wife, she buys spam all the time, and she fries it, and she loves it. I think it's disgusting myself. Paul, a proper cheese and onion toastie. Nice. Do you ever get the ones from 7-Eleven? Not for me, I'm afraid. They're not for me either, Paul. They're actually, you probably don't notice while you're here, but the bread's actually got quite a lot of sugar in it. And you'll notice it if you make your own for a while. I'm not on bread too much at the moment, because I know I drink beer, so okay, hands up, guilty as charged, Your Honour. But I try to stay away from pasta and rice and all that sort of stuff, and bread especially. But if you eat your own sandwiches, maybe you can buy good wholemeal bread here. You can buy any bread now, good bakeries in Thailand, especially in tourist areas. And you make it yourself. When you get one of those 7-Eleven sandwiches, you can taste it's actually sweet. People swear by them. They love them. After a few beers, you come out a bar at midnight and go and have a cheese and ham toastie. People love them. I don't blame them. But for me, they're too sweet. Checkban, top tip. If you set the running machine at 15% incline, you burn twice as much calories. I started at 1%, and every couple of days added 1% until I was at least 15% after a month. Yeah, well, don't forget, I'm an old codger now, though, Checkban. I put it on an incline. I can feel it on the back of my knees immediately. What it is with me, I just don't get any exercise here because of the soy dogs and everything. I can't even walk. We walked him the other day after we come out of vet, and there was a pack of dogs in this house. And I walked past and they're all barking like crazy. And I said to her, I said, can you imagine if he opened the gate and they all came out, they'd rip him to bits. And one of them managed to get under the gate and came running across. I picked Bintu up. He didn't attack, but it was barking like mad. And when we walked up the street, it went back under the gate, you know. But yeah, I just, what it is, I just want to be able to go to the gym, do some brisk walking for 20 minutes, maybe have a nice swim, and then go out and have dinner or something. It's just to get the you know, just to get the blood flow, to get the heart pumping a bit. You know, I don't particularly want to go there and start using all the weights and everything, because when I did that in the past, if I go, you're always trying to do more and more and more, aren't you? And then what happens? You get a 2-hour routine, and then you don't want to go. You think, oh, I've got to go to the gym today, and you're doing it, and you think, oh, how long have I got left? 40 minutes. Oh, I don't want that. I want to go there, and I want to enjoy my brisk walk. You know, a little bit of light weights. Same with the weights. Yeah, I was doing curls. I was up to 20 kilos at one point. So I was doing curls, and I was also doing this one, you know, but I wasn't doing bench presses or anything like that. Sean says, I do the gym while I'm at work. It's literally next door. I can do during work breaks, run short workouts, shower and back to work. Then I can relax when I get back home in Chonburi. That's great. That's great. I'm really chuffed to bits, because where I live, you know, I'm not in town, as I keep saying, and to find this kind of it's a weird setup, because you're driving down the road. It's on the same road as immigration here, and you drive down. It's a long driveway, and you'd never know it was there. Spam, spiced pork and ham. It could stand for that, but it's not. It's definitely a special processed American meat. Thank you. I don't know if you're having a pop at me there. You know lots of stuff. No, it's just age. You know, you pick up things when you get older. You pick up things, don't you? I used to read books. I've never been a sports fan. I've never watched football. I've never watched cricket, rugby. People think that's kind of weird. I've just never got into it. So I've had to find other things to entertain me. And before the internet, I used to read a lot. I used to go down and get the paper every day from the news agents. I mean, show my age now. I used to read the Sunday. I used to love it on a Sunday, going out and getting the papers. And just sitting Sunday morning reading the papers. I used to read books, and now we've got the internet. I'm always asking questions because I'm interested. You know, something will come into my mind, and I'll think, oh yeah, I wonder how that's done. I can't think of anything now, but I was doing something last night, and I thought, I wonder how that works. And went onto the internet, and you pick up things like that, don't you? I wish that was true for everybody on Facebook. I'd get slaughtered sometimes. Holden fan. That's what I was trying to say. Thanks, Peter. Was cooking burgers and mash for dinner. Bought myself some Spam too from Woolies. It's $6 in a tin here in Australia if it's not on a special. Okay. I found Spam a very salty meat. You know, I try to, not that I'm eating Spam now, but I'm always aware of salt intake. I've stopped eating. Some people call them mama. Some people call them instant noodles. Some people call them, what's the other word for them? Rama noodles. You know what I mean? In England, well, here as well now, you get a plastic pot, you pull a foil lid off, you put boiling water in, leave it for 2 minutes. I used to love them. I used to get boxes of the Korean noodles. It's a red and black. They're really spicy, very nice actually. And I used to get boxes of them, and I'd eat 3-4 times a week because they are so tasty. But they're full of sodium, you know, and sodium, and they're so bad for the body. And if I do fancy one nowadays, I'll have one maybe in a month. I think, oh, I really fancy some noodles. You know, I really fancy some instant noodles. So what I'll do, I'll make it in the cup, and then with a fork, I'll take the noodles out and put them into the bowl, and the liquid, which is the tasty bit, I know, I throw that away because that's what contains most of the salt, and I'll just eat the noodles. Sometimes I do something that you probably think, God, that's disgusting, but it's actually quite nice. Is I'll take the noodles out, and I'll put a drop of ketchup on them, and I'll mix that in, or some mustard or something, just give it some more taste, you know. A lot of comments you're leaving there, Gravel Billy Boy. I can't read them all out. I'll read this one from Holden fan here. China also has sweet bread. I don't like it either, Peter. I like multigrain bread with Vegemite. Okay, so I'll tell you something. I first came here just almost 30 years ago, right? Back then, you could not get bread at all. Okay, the only place, well, I'll say that the only place you could get bread is if you were checked. God, if you were checked into a 4 or 5 star international chain hotel, they always had their own bakery, and they made baguettes and buns on the buffet table and stuff like that. But you could not go to a supermarket and get bread. The only bread I ever seen back then, you go into 7-Eleven and they had 2 slices of bread, right, which was sugar in it, and they had a green paste in it. They spread some green, God knows what it was. It was almost like an luminous green, okay? But nowadays, like here, for instance, if I go into Big C, they've got 2 bakeries, not 1, 2. Same in this shopping mall, Big C. Same in Market Village. They've got a fantastic bakery in there. It's the same one that's in Terminal 21 in Bangkok. You've got lots of individual bakeries where that's all they do. They're little shops and they bake bread. And it's fantastic. I can get a fresh loaf of wholemeal bread, okay, and they've got a chart on the wall. And the chart says like a centimetre and a half, 2 centimetres. And they'll say, well, how do you want it cut? And they'll cut it for you. And it's fresh. And I don't think they put any chemicals into it. And they bake that on the premises every morning. And I've gone there at 11 o'clock. And I've said, because I used to put the bread in my freezer and then you could toast it, right? So I've gone there at 11 o'clock and I said, oh, I want 4 wholemeal breads. Can you slice it for me? And they're like, oh, well, they're still hot. We can't slice them yet. And I'm like, well, how long? And they said about an hour. And I said, well, look, let me pay for them, put them on. So they took my name and put them on a shelf. And then I come back an hour later and then they slice them up for me. So it's fantastic now. There's nothing you can't get in Thailand now. You can get it all. You know, the shops that specialize in foreign food, everything. Even Big C, which is a Thai supermarket, does HP brown sauce and Captain Birdseye fish fingers. And, you know, you can get it all now. Gravel Billy Boy, get a walking stick and say no to the dogs. It's not that they're going to, you know, when I walked myself, I come across, well, there was a 40-minute walk I did, okay, but I don't like doing it now because it's just not a nice, pleasant walk where I go. It's all full of litter and plastic and stuff, and I don't like looking at that when if I'm out, I like, you know, to look at nature. And there's one house where 4 dogs used to come out and start barking, and one of them was braving the other 3. He'd come towards me, and if you pretend you're going to pick up a stone, because that's what the Thais do, they'll throw a stone at it, and they know, right? So if you go to pick up a stone, they'll back off, or if you carry a small stick with you on your walk, you just raise it like that. You don't hit them, just raise it. They'll back off again. But I'm not worried about that. What I'm worried about is if I took Bintu out, he's a very timid dog, you know, and if 4 dogs come out at him, he'll be terrified, literally terrified. You know, I don't want to put him through that. Sauna is good for you too. I don't think they've got a sauna over there. I used to like saunas. Ronald, why don't you get into the car and walk the dog somewhere where it's like, well, we do occasionally. There's a nice reservoir, but it's half an hour away and it's not practical to do it every day. So I've given him, he's got a workout routine. You might laugh. This is funny. So he's exercising all day. So like about 6 o'clock, I'll go out in the front and I'll throw a ball from one end of the front garden to the other. And it's quite a distance. And he's very good. He runs after it, he brings the ball and he drops it back in my hand. And then he'll do that for about 50 minutes and he's really tired. And then we stop and then we do what we got to do. Then about 8 o'clock at night, his favorite game is I've got, you know, the mop for mopping the floor. He's waving that thing around. He's trying to jump up and grab it. Sometimes he's successful. But by the time we've finished that game, you know, I'm going around the kitchen with it and out into the lounge on the tile floor, up on his cage and then on the coffee table, and I run it all around and he's chasing it at full speed. Just like I say, sometimes he'll grab it and I try to take it off him. His feet will come off the ground. So he gets exercise. I mean, he's not just sleeping all day. And then he does his own thing. When we're out, we leave him out in the garden. He goes around, sniffs and what have you. So he gets exercise. He's all right. But I just can't pop a lead on him and walk him around. It's too dangerous. But when we want to go somewhere like to a beach or the reservoir, something like that, yeah, we'll put him. I bought a cage for the car, but we don't use it. He sits on my girlfriend's lap. Oh, well, he's on the floor on the front, but his front legs are looking out the window. And then we put a harness on him, and then not a collar. And then there's a lake. It's about 3 kilometers right round. We'll walk around there. Then we go next door to the beach, and there's a Thai place on the beach. We have noodles or rice or something like that. So he does get his exercise, but we've got to be careful with him. Where in Thailand do you want to travel for a short trip? Well, I've done most of Thailand, but where I haven't really done is south. I mean, I flew to Phuket before. Obviously, I've done to Pattaya and Hua Hin. But before we got the dog, we were starting to explore further south. You know, there's some beautiful beaches, you know, an hour away. And I just want to explore some of the areas down south. Bang Saray is lovely. That's another beach town. There's some real nice places on the coast. Sean says, I work far away, close to Pattaya. That's why I do the gym. Okay. The Gormless Twit says spam is like pet food. Okay. I wouldn't even give it to Binto. Gravel Billy 1. If you look at the label, all food has too much sodium. Well, that's another thing I like about Thailand, because all the food is made fresh. The only problem is that they put too much salt in. But if you actually tell them in Thai, look, please tell the chef, don't make it too salty, they don't. Actually, what happens, they don't normally put any salt in, so you have to add your own, which I prefer, because sometimes they'll do a stir fry, and they'll just grab like a fistful of salt and throw it in. And I've had meals where I've had to leave it. It's just so salty, and if it's a regular place I go to, I'll say, look, I'll leave it. And they'll say, oh, what's wrong with it? I'll say, no, I'm not complaining. It's just too much salt in it. I can't eat that. And then the next time I come in, is it all right? Is it okay? Yeah, I did wonder, Gravel Billy Boy, because you've thrown out the comments now, kind of skipped a couple. Have a lay down. Right, Toby Price, no point in worrying about it now, Peter. Eat what you want. I know where you're coming from, but it is still, you are what you eat. That's an old saying. There's two things that will kill you in life. One is cigarettes, and the other is a flab around your belly. Okay. I gave up smoking about 15 years ago. I used to smoke 2 packets of cigarettes a day. Luckily, I didn't get lung cancer. I want to get the belly down. It's not huge. It's not like, I see guys in Pattaya walking whales, it's not huge, but it is there. There's a lump there, and I've got to get it off. Ronald, anyone here watch the Flip Flop Traveler on YouTube? Okay. Yeah. Okay. I don't really advertise other YouTubers here. Sex. Only problem with Thai. The only problem with many Thai supermarkets is that they sell bread that is 2 or 3 days old. Not always to get bread baked fresh on the same day. If you're talking about the bread that's in plastic wrappers that's on the shelf, yeah, it can be 2-3 days old. Like the burger buns I buy, I get them and put them straight in the. I buy burger buns because I make my own burgers and they're in the freezer. I haven't had one for ages. But if you go to the bakeries where they actually bake the bread every morning, that is fresh daily, and you get it. It's warm. Corned beef hash. That was one of the favorites of the prisoners in Colditz. David, I don't remember. I've lost you. Where are you? I don't remember 7-Eleven, Peter, in 1997. Well, in 1997, half of the kind of 7-Eleven stores were not 7-Elevens. They were Family Marts. 7-Eleven seems to have dominated the market now. I think there's still a Family Mart on where Nana is, on Sukhumvit Soi 4. If you go past Nana and past the Nana Hotel and way down, there's loads of 7-Elevens on Soi 4 all the way down. There's probably 5, 6. But there is one Family Mart just before the Hillary's on the right. But back then in 1997, everywhere you went, there was always a Family Mart and a 7-Eleven. There were even Stevens, as they say. And 7-Eleven, as I say, just seems to have dominated the market. Soul. So, Peter, when you reach 96, I wish, you'll get rid of the most recent one and get 130. That's a stand. I know what you're saying. Now, that's a standard joke I have with my girlfriend, and she always laughs, even though I've said it so many times. Like, one of her Thai friends, she'll be talking to her Thai friend, and I'll say, she's 48 now. When she gets to 50, I'm going to change her for 2 25-year-olds. And they laugh, they like that one. I'd love to get to the age of 96. Paul Harrison, I used to use spam as a bait when fishing. No way would I eat it. Okay, expensive bait, because you'd have to get a whole tin. What did I use? I used to fish. If I didn't use like live bait, I'd use what did I use? Sweet corn seemed to work okay, but it falls off easy. Alibaba and the 40 Ladies. If you live in Thailand, you are sweating away tons of the salt, and you'll need the extra salt in your food. Different story if you're in the UK. I know where you're going with that, but salt is an abundance of salt in your body is bad for you. Your kidneys have to process it, and it's not good. So I think you get enough salt anyway, because I just think there is. I just think what you eat, because when you eat in Thailand, you do eat processed food as well, don't you? So you do get. I think you get enough salt without people adding in the salt. Okay, I'm off to the movies, going to see Backrooms. Okay, enjoy it, Paul. Sean rather. Paul, could you live in Pattaya, mate? No, absolutely not. There's a couple of reasons why. Now, I'm not knocking Pattaya. Okay, I've had some great times in Pattaya. I've got memories. I've woke up on the beach at 6 a.m. still with a hangover, and I didn't know I was asleep on the beach. I had some great times down there. I mean, years ago, me and a friend rented a small apartment in Naklua, North Pattaya, because we used to go down so often. My wife at the time had lots of Korean friends in Bangkok, so she didn't mind, and I used to go down for the weekend or a couple of days off whenever I got time off the hotel. And I had some fantastic times in Pattaya, some real party times. But I honestly feel like the town has changed a lot as far as the demographics of people. The people who go there are just different now, okay? But I couldn't live there. No, I mean, look, here's another reason. We used to go to Pattaya, my girlfriend and I, drive down, little fly. We used to drive, there it is again, I haven't got any spray, I'll have to whack it, see if it goes away. We used to go down to Jomtien. We used to like Jomtien. We'd stay in the boathouse or one of those hotels along there, sit on the beach all day, and we'd drive into Pattaya if we want to do a bit of shopping or something, go to a restaurant. And my girlfriend was in 7-Eleven in Jomtien one time, and a guy walked up to her and he said, "Oh, can I have your line ID?" And then she said, "Why?" And he said, "Well, I'm very close here. How much for short time?" And she was like, she didn't really understand what he was talking about because you never sort of heard of short time and all the rest of it. But she told me about it, and I thought, I know Pattaya's that sort of town, but you don't go up to a strange woman in a 7-Eleven and ask her how much for a short time, right? So that was another strong reason. I just didn't want to have my girlfriend in that sort of environment where guys, they go to Pattaya for that, a lot of the guys, right? And a lot of guys think, well, the girls who are here, that's what they do. But they don't all do that. There are girls in Pattaya who are straight girls. Not many, but there are. I just didn't want to. I just don't want her to not be able to go to a supermarket because some stupid guy is going to ask her for a line ID or a short time. Glenn Hotspur, Peter, I'm a little younger than you, but do you remember spam fritters at school? I do. And I remember liver and onions. I've always hated any kind of offal. I can't even eat a steak and kidney pie. Simon was in Scruffy Murphy's having his dinner. He was staying on 94, Irish pub, and I said, "I'll come over and have a couple of pints with you." Went over there and I said, "What are you eating?" He said, "Oh, steak and kidney pie." And I was like, "You eat kidneys?" I couldn't. I'm very fussy with food. Elite massage parlor, really? All right. Big difference between good quality pink salt and processed bleach salt. I've read that, and then I've had it debunked in another thing I read. Like, people say if you get Himalayan pink salt, it's much healthier than normal white salt. But then I went on to ChatGPT. I can't know. It might not have been ChatGPT. I went on somewhere on the internet, and they said it's no different. Bigger crystals of salt, but there's no difference. What I'm trying to say, I haven't seen any significant scientific proof that the pink salt is actually better for you, and you tend to get more salt when you do it on a salt mud, as it well comes out. Ronald, I think there's also a lot of sugar in Asian food in the sauces. That's another problem as well, because I'll ask for what do I have? Right, pad thai. I don't eat pad thai because they pre-make the sauce, okay, and it's a sweet sauce. And when I lived in Soy 8, there's a lady. I've been to a few places, and I've told them I always say in Thai, no garlic, no sugar, little salt. And I can say it in Thai and they understand me, okay? But where were we the other day? We went to Market Village, and what did I order? I ordered a fried rice, okay? And it doesn't normally have sugar in it, but I noticed he put some kind of black sauce in the mix. And when I got it back, it was like really sweet. And I went back to the counter. I said, "Did you put sugar?" Asked him in Thai, young guy. I said, "Did you put sugar in it?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Why is it sweet?" And he says, like, I said, "No, it's too sweet. I can't eat it. Don't worry about it, mate." I said, "Don't worry about it." He took 40 baht out of the box and gave it back to me. And I thought, oh, well, I'll buy something else then. But with the pad thai, they pre-make the sauce and it's got sugar in it or some sweet. So if I say, look, no sugar, they won't physically put sugar in, but it's still sweet. So I know which dishes I can eat now and what I can't. I'm very, very, very fussy. Elite, and you're saying sugar is worse for you. I think they're just as bad as each other at the end of the day. You've come in late because that's the exact same question somebody asked me earlier, and no, it's not as far as I know. Elliot says, nothing worse than having too much salt, then waking up in the middle of the night, mouth as dry as Gandhi's flip-flop. The reason I don't eat Chinese takeaway anymore. That's one thing I miss. People say, do you miss anything about Thailand? I used to like it. I know there's too much salt in them, but I used to love a good Chinese, from the local Chinese shop. What did I used to eat? Chicken chow mein or something like that. And you can't, there is a place that advertises here in Hua Hin that they do English style Chinese food. I haven't been there, but every now and again I think, I could do a nice Chinese meal tonight. Chet Brown, go on, Peter. Have a great rest of the weekend and wish you a good journey to Bangkok tomorrow. All the best and bye-bye from Prague. Have a good one at the brewery today and don't get too drunk. How long we've been going? Nearly 1 hour, 54 minutes. I'll keep it going to the 2 hour mark and then we'll call it a day. The black sauce must be Hua Hin sauce, oyster sauce. I don't know, though. I don't know what it is. I've actually cooked with, I used to cook a lot in Bangkok. When my girlfriend come home late, she'd have a dinner waiting for her. The roles were reversed. And I used to I had a bottle of oyster sauce. And what did I used to make with the oyster sauce? Some kind of noodles. I can't remember. And I put oyster. No, it was when I made... mixed vegetables, so it'd be I cut up all the vegetables, mushrooms, green peas, broccoli, whatever it was, cut it all up and you stir fry it. But if you didn't put anything, it'd be boring. So I used to put oyster sauce, and then I used to put light soya sauce in there, mix it all up. And then the soya sauce has got quite a lot of salt in it, but it doesn't overpower it. So it used to taste good. And the oyster sauce gave it, it's quite thick oyster sauce, but I never sort of got any sugary or sweet taste from it. Maybe they put something else in it, or maybe they make it themselves. Probably make it themselves. What else? Have we talked about that? We talked about that. Okay, we talked about dating as well, didn't we? Yeah, I think we're too late into the stream now. I was going to talk about myths about Thailand. Like everything's cheap and all the girls are looking for money. But I think I've already touched on that now. Not all the girls are looking for money, but some are. Thai American, you're late in. Where have you been? Come Peter, have you been to Capone's Pizza yet? Oiloi Mac. No, that's recently opened. I know a couple of people have been there. For me, I don't really go to restaurants too much on 94 because it's a tourist area and the prices in all the restaurants there seem to be, well, they're marked up at tourist prices, aren't they? I know alternative places I can go to that are, it's not that I haven't got any money, but you don't squander money, do you? And 94 and around the Hilton, the restaurants are, they're touristy places, aren't they? So the prices are much more expensive than kind of out here, so I've got my other places to go. But I've heard the pizza's good. How to pronounce that? Sex Slez, is it? Many Thai restaurants often add sugar, salt, and MSG to many foods they are cooking. I'm not sure many restaurants in the West use a lot of sugar and MSG in their cooking. I don't think they particularly use sugar in savory dishes in England, and I think MSG is banned in England, isn't it? I know the Chinese takeaways use it a lot. You'll get the prawns and they're kind of swollen up and they're really tasty because of MSG, but it's very normal for them to put MSG in the food here. Right, let's go back, see if I've missed any out because the comments are kind of dried up now. How long we got? We'll do another 3 minutes. I'm just going back because sometimes I do miss the odd comment. I think I've got them all today. Right. Somebody mentioned earlier, they said, the problem with living in Thailand, you're sweating all the time. That's part of the deal here, isn't it? It's a hot country. But the one thing I do miss, one of the things I miss about England is, like, when we go out here, I come home, I've got to strip off, right? Unless you leave the aircon all the time, it's going to be expensive then, or you get solar panels or something. But generally speaking, in the daytime, I've got it on here now because I've got a shirt on, okay? But if I'm out in the lounge, the back door's open all day, we're in and out of the house, we do things in the garden. I'm going to wash the motorbikes after this. I've got a power washer, so I'm going to wash the ADV and her Scooby after this. When I say wash, just spray them with soapy water, then clean water. But, you know, I'm only wearing a pair of shorts, you know, and I go out, I've got to get dressed again. I'll go out and have dinner, get dressed again, come back, and then I take everything off again. You know, in the evening, when we come back after dinner about 8 o'clock, then I put the air conditioning on and I go and take a shower, and it's cool all night. But you do get to climatize to a point, you know. It's not the heat that bothers me, it's the humidity. It's 86% humidity here in Thailand, about that. And it's just, you know, you're always like sweating. The Thais use palm sugar on their food. That's why it's so good. Okay. I think I'm getting a cold. I've never liked any kind of savory dish that's sweet, ever. Like my girlfriend will buy food from the market. She'll say, try it. It's nice. And I will try a little bit. I'm like, I couldn't eat that. Alibaba and the 40 Ladies. Okay, I've read that one out. Let's go back to some newer ones then. There's a few in. Which ones haven't I read? All right, we'll start from. No, sorry. I think I'm getting a cold. Alibaba, do you tell them when you order no MSG? No, I don't bother telling them no MSG. Because I'd be saying no garlic, no sugar, minimize salt, no MG, no MSG. They're going to turn around and say, no eating. Right, okay. Elliot, how long is the bus from Hua Hin to Pattaya? What do you think the easiest way? So I explained all this actually in earlier in the stream. You might want to rewind, but the easiest way is take the bus from Edgamire. It's 240 baht. They go every hour, and you get the big blue bus. But if you go back and listen to the stream earlier on, I actually explained how you come out, which door to come out, how to get the bus, and where it goes and everything. Take the bus, and it's about 3.5 hours. Try using that Ronald says, try reading that username again. Yeah, I was kind of, when I read it out, I kind of thought, yeah, okay, the pennies dropped. Dog says, MSG in many foods these days, not only Asian food. You missed mine about card games. Okay, let's go back. Okay, there we go. Do you play cards? Could be a way to meet people, a round of poker, rummy, or whist. Not really. I don't have any kind of hobbies like that because meeting people isn't a problem for me. I meet people every day. I get recognized in Hua Hin more than Bangkok and Pattaya. I never cough on a live stream. It's gone crazy today. Yeah, no, I don't have an issue meeting people. It's quite easy for me to meet people having the YouTube channel. Thai American, what's Binto's favorite food? He's really fussy. What we do, I buy chicken, boil it, and chop it up, and put that in with his food. The meat and the dry food, he's very, very fussy. Shlin, is it? What is a fair sin sod when you get married to a Thai? Depends what her background is. If she's been married before or she worked in a bar or something like that, you shouldn't be giving her anything. But no, it's got to be discussed with the family. Normally what happens is the girl will discuss it with her parents. The parents will kind of indicate what they want. The girl will come back to you and tell you, and you'll say that's too much and reduce it. And you just agree. What a lot of wealthy Thais do these days, they give like millions, but they get it back. It's just for face. It's just for show. So the Thai girl will get married to the Thai guy. You know, you've got two families there, and there'll be like 20 baht of gold, maybe 50 baht of gold, a couple of million of Thai baht in cash sitting there. But after the ceremony, they give it back to the family because they don't need it. They're both rich, you know. If you're talking about the journey from Hua Hin to Bangkok, it's not 5 to 6 hours. It's about 3.5. It can be 4 if it's busy. The Thai American, it's embarrassing. I miss American Chinese food too. You do. Whatever you grew up on, whatever you had in your own country, you're going to miss it, aren't you? Elliot says, is your aircon get serviced regularly as this? Can give you a chesty cough. Well, it's a brand new aircon. We've only been in this house 7 months. It's got a self-clean on it. I'm going to get it serviced after the year, but it's got a self-clean button on it. And what it does, it freezes it freezes itself actually, and then it warms up, and all the dirt supposedly sticks to the ice and then flushes out, and you can hear the ice like cracking. You know, I might do it after this actually. It's funny, it doesn't have it on this controller. It's got on my other one, but it does work on there. Right. Holden fan, are the outlets in Thailand that have shops such as Superdry and Levi's, would it be worth visiting an outlet shopping centre in Thailand? Yeah, I mean, I don't know for sure, but in Bangkok, they've got everything. There isn't a brand you can't buy. Probably not down here or Pattaya, but you'll get Levi's in Bangkok. You can get any designer brands. You just have to pay for it. Yeah, exactly. You probably have to go to the malls. Right, guys, look, I'm going to end it there. I've been gone for 2 hours and 4 minutes now. I always enjoy the Saturday streams because they're much more ad-libbed and not planned so much as the Sunday streams. But I will be back a week tomorrow on Sunday. As I say, I'm going to go off and clean my motorbikes, well, the scooters, and then I'm going to you know, when you're old, you have to think about things that you need to pack. Like I need 2 of these tablets and 3 of these tablets, and you know all the rest of it. So I'm off to Bangkok tomorrow. I'll enjoy it. I might do a few Facebook posts. I won't make any videos for. I'm not going to make any videos for YouTube because I've got things to do. I want to go up there and enjoy myself, do a bit of shopping and stuff. But I might do the odd Facebook. You know, Facebook's easy. You just point the camera, upload, and it's done. I've got no outgoing music, anything like that, guys. So enjoy the rest of your week. Thanks for your contributions, and hopefully I'll see you next Sunday. Okay, all the best.